Hi everyone, Grandma Mia here. Sorry for the brief entrance where there was nobody. Okay, Echoes of the Fae. I'm hoping that tonight we will find the Leshen. We'll either find body parts, or we'll find him alive somewhere, or we'll just hopefully find him, because this poor mom is looking for her son, and she can't find him, and that's not a good thing. So okay, let me get comfortable. And oh wait, my chair just spun around, and I almost fell out of it. Oh, I am so clumsy. Okay, hold on a second. The old gal's got to get comfy. Okay, so let's see if we can. I don't know where we left off, because it's been since November 20th. I went back and had to look at the date, and I was like, oh, it's been a while since I've,
Sophia, any news on the case?
Not yet. I need to think a little more. So, why are you wearing that big smile on your face?
Your potion. I finished it!
Oh, really? I was starting to think that list of ingredients would be endless. Suddenly the potion feels a little less epic.
Well, how you feel about it will have no bearing on its effectiveness. So let's just hope that it works.
And how will we know that it works exactly? If you haven't noticed, I've been managing my polymorphy quite well. I don't have any symptoms for the potion to cure right now.
I'm glad you currently have no symptoms. And if the potion works as intended, you never will. It's as simple as that.
Fine, but my last question is the most important of all. Does it taste good?
I have no idea, but it smells sort of like damp straw.
ooh, damp straw. That doesn't sound good at all. Okay, well, I hope you guys are hearing the voice acting.
I'll take that as a no.
Oh, hello. Hey, can you hear the voice acting that's going on?
Before you drink this potion, I must warn you again that the potion itself could have unexpected side effects.
Such as?
I don't know. That's why they would be unexpected. But it seems likely that it would have an impact on your powers of transmogrification.
I enjoy a good thrill now and then. But I don't know about this, Haramon. Once again, drinking the potion sounds more dangerous to me than abstaining from it.
Oh, hi there. Thanks for letting me know, and thanks for joining me. Yeah, I changed my headset. I've got a new headset, and I wanted to make sure that it was set up right and you could hear the voice acting.
I want you to be aware of the risks. But I assure you, Sophia, that the risk of doing nothing to keep your powers in check is far greater. As your doctor and your dear friend, I advise you to drink this now and be done with it.
I'm going to drink the potion.
I've gone this far to make the damn thing. How can I refuse now? Besides, I'm just so curious. What will happen to me once I drink it?
If all goes as planned, nothing at all will happen. That is, after all, the point.
I admit, that would be kind of disappointing.
Are you ready?
Yes, hand it over already.
Here you are.
As I take the vial from Haramon, I notice something strange. Haramon's hand is shaking. Could I be imagining it? Haramon is a very calm and collected fellow. Besides, why would he feel nervous about giving me medicine? Medicine he carefully and meticulously concocted for me, all on his own. I feel a moment of hesitation, but when I glance back up at Haramon, the hesitation disappears. I trust him. I know that he wouldn't give me this drug unless he sincerely believed it was for the best. I uncork the vial, put it to my mouth, and gulp it all down.
Well, how do you feel?
I'm fine. I think. Is the room
Uh-oh.
shaking?
No, it is not.
Oh, I guess I'm just a little bit dizzy. Caramel, it hurts!
What hurts? What's wrong? Where do you feel the pain?
My head. No. Everywhere it hurts. Caramon. Oh, please. Make it stop.
Sophia!
Next thing I know, I'm falling to the floor. My body feels heavy, full of rocks, and meanwhile, my skin is crawling like I'm drowning in fire ants. I can hardly even think through the pain. It's all consuming, too strong for my awareness to endure. It's not just pain that I feel everything. I hear every sound in the room as if it banged on my eardrums. The light is so bright I can see through my eyelids. The floor underneath me is cold and sandy, too rough, too coarse for my sensitivity of my skin. I want to flee from it all, to bury my senses deep within my mind and never let them feel again. For an immeasurable moment, I try to do just that. I try to get away from it all, to stop feeling the world all around me. It's as if before this point I was a little girl playing in a rainstorm, but now a tornado approaches and I need to find shelters underground. Deep, deep underground where nothing else can hurt me.
Sophia, come back, please.
My senses start to dull very slowly. The pain recedes in waves as my normal awareness returns. I'm in Harriman's arms. I can feel his magic flowing through me. I can smell his breath, both earthy and sweet. I can feel the heat of his skin against my chest.
Harriman, there are better ways to get your hands under my shirt.
Sophia! Oh, thank you.
For a while he just clings to me and I let him. The world still feels like an angry ocean tossing around me, and he is my anchor to the shore. For a while we just hold each other, not moving, and for some inexplicable reason I feel safer now than I ever have before.
Can you stand?
Yes, I think so.
Sophia, I'm so sorry. I can't believe that happened.
He picks up the vial suddenly and flings it across the room.
A fool!
You said there could be risks. Why? Why did it hurt me like that? It felt almost like what I felt in the explosion at Onagrad.
I suppose there is some logic to that.
What? What do you mean? Harriman, what do you mean?
I lied. This potion wasn't just meant to protect you from the dangers of polymorphy. I wanted to protect you from the dangers of using magic altogether. I hoped that this potion would seal you from the Fae.
You what?
It was the only way to ensure that magic could never hurt you again.
You should have told me.
How could I? You never like my suggestions or advice. Sometimes I think you fight against my recommendations before you even consider them, simply because you resent my intervention.
That isn't true.
Isn't it?
I don't know, maybe a little. I've never liked people telling me what to do. The only thing I like about rules is that I get to break them.
I know, and I adore that about you. If you hadn't been willing to break the rules at Onigrad. But now it is my duty to protect you. And if you resent me for it, then so be it.
I'm gonna forgive him.
I don't resent you, Harriman. I'm glad you're here to help me. If there's one person in the world I'm willing to let boss me around all day, it's you. But I need you to understand that not everything's within your control. Not me, and certainly not my magic. So every once in a while, you just need to let go.
I cannot just let go, any more easily than you can follow a rule book.
I can live with that.
So can I. Sophia,
What is it?
Never mind. Once again, I am so sorry about the potion. The fact that I nearly caused you such harm, I'm not sure I can forgive myself.
Well, you fixed me back up, so you're getting off easy this time. In fact, I'm happy, because now I have something to hold over your head. Next time the doctor's orders are not to my liking.
I suppose I deserve that.
See what I mean by the graphics? Or they were hand drawn. I read about that, but it's not like it's some major action or anything like that. But the story's really cute. I mean, it's kind of I don't know if you've seen the other 4 parts, because this is part 5, but the Leshen, which is they look like elves. The mother comes to town and she's looking for her son. They've told her he's dead, but she doesn't feel that he's dead. So Sophia is a private investigator, and she was like high in the military, and then she got like disowned and everything because she made a judgment call, and then she got in trouble for it, but then she got pardoned for it. So, but it's a cute story. And like this right here is the bar. It's time to find out. Okay, so this is just like nothing. And this is the police officer. He's hiding something juicy, but I'll doubt if I'll find out. Okay. And the bookstore, she usually has good gossip. Welcome to Skybound Books. Are you looking for anything specific today? Always gossip. Heard any good gossip lately? You know the inspector the Empire sent to Vodesk? Luca? Ah, okay. She's saying the same thing that she's said several times. So, I'll read this anyway. I never really asked him about his military career, but I figured he must have been in the army for a while to get a post as an Imperial Inspector, even if it's far from the capital. Yeah, supposedly he worked as a clerk for an Arch Commander in the north, only deployed once when the Irdoon got particularly violent near the end. And get this, he managed to get injured in that one battle. I wouldn't hold that against him. I only saw battle combat once, and I was hurt in Onegrad. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Just don't go making assumptions about people based on their military record. There are plenty of other things to judge Luca for. Okay. She just has the same gossip. Okay. And let's go visit. Okay, so there's nothing for the church. Oh, wait a minute. Let's confront Emilia. Emilia's the person I should talk to. She's the one keeping secrets from Arcady. Why am I not going in there? Okay, it's not... Okay, it wouldn't let me go in there, so maybe back out to the outskirts of town. There's only 3 areas to go into. The first one was where her office is, where at the beginning. This is where the camp is. Okay, so there's nothing there for her.
So good to see you again, Nulievna.
What can I help you with, Meayumi? I can't say her name, Nulievna. Good question. Ask about Leshen stories.
How about this?
Read any interesting tales lately?
Yes.
Yes, actually the parable of an unbreakable vine. Tell me about it. One day, in a small farming village, a cabbage farmer discovers a thick, invasive vine growing through his fields. He realized that if he can't root out the vine, it will cover his field and choke out all of his crops. So he pulls it up, but doesn't distract the root and goes along with his work and doesn't extract his work. The next day, the vine is back and even thicker. He pulls it up again, but still can't get the root. So he waits, and the next day, yet again, the vine has returned.
Doesn't add up.
Why doesn't he dig it up?
It's a mystery to me as well.
Because it's a story. Now this keeps happening for a full week. He doesn't know what to do. No matter how hard he pulls on the vine, just enough remains in the dirt to let it regrow even stronger. He goes to the local Irdun priest and asks for a spell that will destroy the vine or a reference to a mage who can do it for him. The priest says no spell will eliminate the vine. Instead, he tells the farmer to gather all the townsfolk and have them pull on the vine. How long is this vine? It's a very long vine. Anyway, the farmer goes to his immediate neighbors and gets them to help. The 3 villagers all grasp parts of the vine. He's only got 3 neighbors? Okay. And pull. It's easier to pull, but they still fail to dig out the root. The farmer goes to the Irdun priest and asks what went wrong. The priest tells them that he did not get all the villagers to pull on the vine. Just a few will not do. So he gathers all the adults in the village. They cannot all grasp the vine, so some put hands on the vine while others pull on their bodies to increase the force of the awful plant. Yet they still cannot pull up the root.
I've got this.
Well, all adults isn't all the townsfolk. Exactly. The farmer once more returns to the priest and describes his predicament. And the priest again emphasizes that the whole village must work together. Everyone. So he finally gathers up every Lushan, man and woman, adult and child, and they all lay hands on the vine. With a single tug, they extract it from the ground, root and all. The message is that for the deepest of troubles, the corporation of every soul in your own town must be committed to the cause, and that those who think they have the least strength sometimes provide the final pull.
But
I still don't know why it wasn't easier just to use magic to destroy the vine. You truly don't understand Lushan parables, do you, Sophia? I suppose not, but I'd still be interested if you have any more for me. I'll be on the lookout. Okay. I have all I need for now. Thank you.
Anything for a friend.
Yeah, he's got the hots for her. Okay, the banquet hall. This guy just... Welcome to the Vodos Banquet Hall, home of the Vodos dramatic players. Okay, you say you don't remember much about Fulren, but he did come to a lot of plays during the occupation? That's right. Did he bring anyone with him? What do you mean? Did he come alone or with others? Well, let's see. I remember him being accompanied by a beautiful Lushan woman. She must have been far from the far north because she had gossamer wings that seemed to glow in the light. He's lying to her and she knows it. A Lushan woman? Really? Yes, of course. Did you ever see him with a human woman? Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps she was a human after all. You said she had wings. I was mistaken. I see so many people every night. I simply get them mixed up all the time. So, do you know anything about this woman? Nothing I can help you with. Okay. Oops. I gotta go back out this way. Okay, there was nothing in the church. Let's see. Why did I not go out there? Okay, this is City Hall. This guy will tell you nothing. Welcome to the Votis County Clerk's office. How may we help you? Ask for gossip. He might have some. Heard any good gossip lately? You know the Imperial Inspector? Can you tell him to get off our case?
Can you give me any more details?
What do you mean? Twice in 3 days he's demanded access to our registry of the Lesson of Vodosk. He's trying to figure out whether there is an Iriduan sympathizer in our mess. Then he should hand over any information he has to the sheriff. I doubt he'll be doing that anytime soon. We're cooperating with him. He should cooperate with us. Can I do anything else for you today? Never mind.
Till next time.
I have all I need for now. Thank you. Okay, there's the end of the town. See, the town is like 3 buildings and then that's it. And then when you get to the little white things, she probably had the bookstores and stuff like that. They just have a lot of gossip.
Hello, Nolyevna. I take it this isn't a social call.
I'm afraid not.
Then what can I do for you?
I know you don't want to talk about my case, but I can't avoid it anymore. Every clue I find points back to you. I finally have a theory about what really happened to Fulren. Problem is, it conflicts with what you've told me.
Well, I suppose you should enlighten me.
Commander Aristov retrieved your military records for me. I read your report of what happened at the end of the war. You were missing for a whole month. Supposedly, you spent that time recuperating in a cabin near the border. None of that would be very strange if it didn't sound incredibly familiar to me. In fact, it's the exact same story I gave the authorities once I returned to Vodosk.
Once more, you and I seem to have a lot in common.
Admit it, Edward. You stole my story. Something else happened to you after you escaped the prison camp.
Perhaps I did. I had endured a great deal. Imprisonment, war, and most importantly, the loss of someone I loved. I needed time on my own, but I didn't want to go into detail about that to the authorities. What I did during that time was private. So, yes, I stole your story. It worked for you, after all. Some people even revered you as a hero.
Not everyone. Mostly just the Leshen.
Well, there you have it. I lied in my reports to the authorities. I gave them the same vague story you did. Did you tell them the truth, Nolyevna? What does any of this have to do with Fulren, anyway?
I don't think Fulren died in the war. I think he escaped with you from the prison camp, and the two of you went into hiding together. Maybe he really is dead, but he didn't die when or how the records indicate.
Do you have any proof to support this theory?
I have enough.
No, you don't, love. You're bluffing.
Fulren was bonded to a fox. Now that Fulren is gone, that fox likes to spend its time near the Krovikan church. Why would it do that? Fulren died sometime after you both escaped. Maybe he had a fatal wound. Maybe something even worse happened. In any case, you had to cover it up. Everyone believed Fulren was already dead, and you certainly didn't want to advertise the fact that you had been harboring and sleeping with a Leshen soldier wanted by his own people. You buried him beneath the Krovikan church because you knew no one would look for him there. Krovikans don't believe in burial, and most Leshen don't get near the Krovikans if they can help it.
Interesting theory. However, that isn't what happened.
And why don't you tell me what did happen?
I already told you. Fulren died saving me. I wish that isn't what happened. I wish it with all my heart, but it did. So once again, you have wasted your time and mine.
Edward, please. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to learn the truth.
So Tiatha Ir Attic can give you a big bag of coins? Yes, I understand exactly what you're after.
I'm just doing my job. I'm sorry if...
I have nothing more to say to you, Sophia. Please, just go.
Okay. She might have some gossip. Sometimes they have good gossip, sometimes they don't. And we don't need any... See, the items, you can actually, like, change your hair, change the colors of your clothes and stuff like that. But I always just save the gold because you don't end up with that much, so... Okay. Heard any good gossip lately? Tariffs on goods from the east just keep going up. I know the council wants us to purchase locally, but that's not always possible.
What a dumb idea.
So that's why everything keeps getting more expensive? If this keeps going up, wine is going to be cheaper than beer, just like during the occupation. Oh, really? Leshan prefer wine, so we have plenty of that, and the vineyards remain, so we'll have plenty of it here. But beer sells better to humans, and we have to get it from the east. That county isn't going to make any friends among the people if they're responsible for expensive beer. I wish the council realized that. Okay, can I do anything else for you today? Never mind. I have all I need for now. Thank you. Okay. I think I've checked all the buildings again, so I'm gonna head back to see if Harriman's got anything. Harriman is working on one case and I'm working on another case. Or Sophia's working so we've got two different cases that are both tied together, but not. So it's time to find out what really... Unfortunately, there's no one here who can help me with that. Okay, well, that didn't work. So... I wonder who I missed. I mean... It's time to find out what's really... Unfortunately, there's no one here. Okay, there's no one at the bar. He doesn't have anything. Okay. I can't believe it. Okay. I think Amelia's the person I should talk to. She's the one keeping secrets from Arcady. But it won't let me go in there. Arcadia's the person I should talk to. He's determined to find out the truth. He seems to like me for some reason. Oh, I know what happened. Oh, I feel so stupid. I was at this part before when I left off on the last part and I was falling asleep. So I just ended before I talked to the this guy. Oh, I was like, what? I've been in... Okay, never mind. My bad. I'm old. I'm allowed to. Emilia seems like a dead end. Neither she nor Edward will budge and tell me whatever it is they're hiding. I just hope Arcady will be more helpful. I'm sure he has some idea of what's going on.
Welcome to the Krovigan Church.
Welcome once again, Lady Rykoff. I'm glad you're making my church a regular destination.
I wonder.
But you're probably don't like what I'm doing. You probably don't like why I'm doing it. Lady Esther works in ways that I could never begin to comprehend. So what was your partner's determination after exploring the catacombs? He was unable to find any sign of a dead Leshan, though he confirmed my suspicion that Florence Fox is somehow tethered here to the church. Oh, he did. He didn't say that. He merely said he could not feel any sign of the Leshan himself. I suppose he wanted to give me the bad news first. Where does this leave your investigation, if I may ask? Let's see. I still believe Fallen is buried in the church, or formulate a new theory. I'm going to formulate a new theory. Something's got to mess with these people. At first, I was sure Edward was buried here in the church. But now, honestly, I'm not so sure. I think it's something else, but I don't quite have the evidence to prove anything. Wait, Edward, I think that was a typo. Fulren's body isn't in the church, Lady Rykoff. I can see why you came to that conclusion, though it is fascinating that you managed to come to that conclusion that he was tethered here through the Fae. That was Harriman's observation. I just noted that he seemed drawn here. No matter, I suspect that you are both correct, but you seem to have missed the real answer. And that is, Fulren's life did not end here, but his connection to the Fae did.
You can't be serious.
And how would he do that?
You must see the truth.
It is little known, but publicly available bit of Krovikan research. We do not hide that in the distant past we performed experiments on Leshen to try and discover their connection to the Fae. One of those experiments included administering the sacrament. Since they naturally live forever, our scientists, terrible as this might be, wanted to know how it would affect them, since they have no lifespan to extend. And it cut the Leshen off from the Fae? They could no longer sense each other. They could no longer use magic. That's terrible.
Here is what I think.
Now, this does leave a rather strange question we are left to answer.
Can you give me any more details?
And why would anyone do such a thing to your missing Leshen? I assure you, no one in the church has had any desire to repeat those terrible experiments. I suspect that Sister Amelia has something to do with covering it up, but it wasn't terrible, not for Fulren. According to someone who knew him, he hated being connected to the Fae. Ah, I see. Now it makes quite a great deal of sense. Fulren wished to be severed from his people. I can also see why Amelia would assist him in this endeavor. She has been cagey with you, but I assure you that she and Fulren knew each other quite well during the occupation. Sister Amelia has admitted to me in private that she knew the Leshen and that he was a secret patron of the church, not as a believer, which would be fascinating, but as a friend to all humans. Maybe this was her way of repaying him. That only leaves another question, though. Where is Fulren now? A Leshen who can't reach the Fae wouldn't be hard to find. The second another Leshen saw him, he'd immediately be recognized as an outsider.
Do not trust appearances.
Perhaps he is no longer a Leshen. Huh? How could he no longer be a Leshen? Okay. During the war, the Irdan were drawn to polymorphy to impersonate humans and infiltrate our military apparatus. Polymorphy? I've heard of that. They couldn't maintain their form for long, but the transformation is a magical occurrence. If a Leshen were cut off from magic during the transformation, they become permanently stuck in that form. If he looks like a human and has no magic, then how the hell are we going to find him? Now come on, Lady Rykoff, you must realize that you've already found him. House Galkin is quite religious, and their youngest son was no exception. I met him on several occasions before he joined the Imperial Army. And yet the one time I visited with Edward to ask personally for a donation, he refused me and did not recognize my face. Are you saying
I will make you understand.
the man you know as Edward is actually Fulren Ir-Adek?
What?
I slept with a Leshen and I didn't even know it? Oh boy, did she, and more than once. This story also, depending on your answers, changes what your outcome is. You did not just have to blurt that out. I'm sorry, it's just, I don't know how to feel about any of this. I could offer a vision reading to help calm your... I really doubt you have a vision reading for this particular circumstance. I would have to improvise.
Doesn't add up.
My head is spinning.
Open your mind.
Now, I cannot be certain of this theory. Amelia, of course, refused to admit anything to me, and I have no evidence to show that she directly complicit in this act. Perhaps the best thing would be to confront Edward directly. If he is willing to implicate Amelia, please let me know. If she is responsible for this, it is great heresy against the church. I figured as much, but you're taking this so calmly. I wasn't sure. This is all quite curious to me. I suppose my fascination dampers my anger to some degree. Well, my curiosity is plenty sated, and now I'm just confused. I suppose I just have to see Edward is willing to tell the truth now.
Yes, the guy.
Good luck, Lady Rykoff. Lady Hester is with you in this trying time. Okay, I'll definitely like Life is Strange until Dark is More. So I should do, is that 2 different games? Life is Strange until Life is Life, and then Dark is More. Is that okay? But is that one title or 2? Is it 1 game or 2 games? Is Life is Strange 1 game and Dark until Dark is More another game? Okay, so one of them's called Life is Strange, and then the other one is Until Dark is More. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I wrote those down that way. Just want to make sure I got it right. I'm not gonna back up and tell you the story, but I'm doing it like in 5 parts or something like that. But it's not that long. I think it's probably maybe 3 or 4 hours of listening. But the storyline that I chose had her sleep with him, and and it's just funny because I'm not going to tell you. You have to go back if you want to, because it's just really funny. So, okay, I'm going after him now. That's not his house. Where's his house? That's not it. I'm going after him. Wait a minute. Where's his house? It's that little blue one. This one. Oh, there's this other thing that happens. If you hit your triangle, you turn into a cat, because that's her polymorphy. And sometimes the cat can go into places and sometimes it can't. But you turn into a cat.
Ah, Nolivna. What brings you here once more? A little...
No.
We need to talk, Edward. Or, should I say, Fulrin?
Oh.
You lied to me. You've been lying to me the entire time I've known you. You're not even who you say you are.
Please, you have to understand. This is very complicated.
I don't think it's that complicated. You're not who you said you were. You're not even a human.
I'm still the person you know, Nulievna. I never acted like anyone but myself.
And if you must know, I do consider myself a human now. I have no connection to the Fae. I cannot use magic. I will likely age and die just as you do.
Ugh.
What is different about me than any other human?
That's not why I'm upset. I'm mad because you lied to me. You deceived me about who you really are, even though we...
No, I didn't. Don't you understand? This is who I am. This is who I am forever because of what I chose. Everything I told you about myself as I am today is the truth.
But your past, who you were, what you used to be.
What does any of that matter? Who I was in the past is dead. He's gone. There's only me. Besides, you have to understand why I didn't tell you. Can you imagine how much danger I'd be in if people knew? From both Leshen and humans? Not to mention you're working for my mother, looking for the man I used to be.
That was all the more reason to tell me. I've been running around the city looking for someone who was right in front of me. How long were you going to let me make a fool of myself?
I wanted to tell you. I thought about telling you 1,000 times, but I was afraid. And look at how you're responding. This is what I was afraid of. You're disgusted by me.
I'm not disgusted by you. I'm mad that you never told me. You could have trusted me. We could have dealt with this together.
While you were on my mother's payroll?
If you didn't trust me, why did you start a relationship with me? Why sleep with me?
Because I like you, Nolyevna. Even if you're taking my mother's gold. Maybe in part because you were taking the gold and not getting anything done with it.
It's not funny, Edward. You could have been honest with me, and I would have protected your secret. Now I don't know.
Please, listen to me. I don't know how you figured it out, but you don't understand the full picture. I never liked being a Leshen. I never felt comfortable with it, but I dealt with it. Then they killed the man I loved, for no reason other than hatred. If I didn't become a human, I would have been connected to those murderers forever. No matter how far I ran, it persisted. It was like my hatred just made the connection stronger.
Tell me then. Tell me exactly what happened to Edward. Make me understand.
It was just a week after the immolation. Leshen were turning against the Irdun, and they made a final push to wipe out as many humans as possible before losing power. I didn't think they would go deep enough into occupied territory to find us.
More eggs and sausages, please.
What's this, love? You already cleared off your plate.
I'm starving. Please have mercy on a poor, lowly prisoner whose stomach is grumbling.
Whose stomach ingested a full bottle of Voldura wine, you mean? I dare say, if I didn't spoil you so much, I think you'd be healthier.
Come now. Wine is good for the heart. Besides, you've been giving me plenty of exercise.
That's true. I like to call it my nighttime regimen, selected especially for my naughtiest prisoner.
Now, if only I had a stalwart liver like yours, I wouldn't tire out so quickly.
Very well. I'll get you some more breakfast. But Edward, dear, if I keep giving you too much food, my marshal could have cause to suspend me.
You dealt with her easily enough before. What was it you said last time? Sweet Marshal Bria, I'm so sorry to distress you. Please, won't you smile again? You're as beautiful as the sunset when a smile is on your face.
That's not what I said at all.
Well, I'm not too far off. I am quite certain you mentioned the sunset.
Yes, well, I was desperate, and I knew she appreciated flattery, but I dare not put my poetry to the test a second time. You stay put, and I'll go get more food. I didn't have enough time to get him more breakfast. I saw the horses approaching from a distance. As soon as I recognized the riders, I rushed back to Edward as quickly as I could. Edward! Edward, get up!
Fulren, what's wrong?
Hurry, get your things. No, there's no time. We have to get you out of here now.
What is going on, Fulren?
The Irdun are here.
What?
The Irdun! I'd heard stories they had men riding around occupied territory and executing prisoners, but I hoped it wasn't true.
Executing prisoners? But that's not possible. I'm a prisoner.
This isn't a time to be funny, Edward. I'm not kidding about any of this.
I understand. Life and death? Let's get on with this.
I'm going to let you out of the camp, and you need to run. Get as far away as you can. I have the guards stalling the Irdun at the checkpoint, but they'll be here in minutes.
What about the other prisoners? The people I surrendered.
I'll do what I can, but I won't be able to do anything if I'm worried about you.
You're going to open their cells too, right?
If I have time.
If you have time? What does that mean?
It's the truth. Now run. Get out of here. Head east away from occupied territory. Stay away from the roads.
No. We have to help the others. How about this? You let me out, I'll go around and let them out while you continue to stall.
The Irdun are killing every human they see. If you're running around between the barracks, you'll be the first one they spot.
Many of the men and women here are my subordinates. I surrendered to save their lives, not box them up for the slaughter.
Please, stop arguing with me, Edward. I will try and help them, I promise you. Do you trust me?
Of course I do. But I will not leave without them.
Edward! With a glint in his eye, he ran off towards the other prisoner barracks. There was nothing I could do to stop him. He ran from door to door, guided only by flickering torchlight, and threw open the locks that were used to keep the humans prisoner. As frightened as I was, I couldn't help but feel a surge of pride and excitement at seeing him throw himself into danger for his fellow men and women. My guards didn't stop him. They knew why the Ear-Dune were there. Maybe they didn't care about the humans as much as I did, but they didn't want them to die. The war was almost over. We were days away from being able to go home. They weren't going to put themselves in any danger to help the Ear-Dune execute anyone. They just stood by and let it happen. But the Ear-Dune, the second they saw the prisoners escape, the Ear-Dune rode into camp and drew their bows. Their magicians conjured their fire, and then they began killing everyone in sight. I tried to get him to safety. There's no time, just run! Come with me!
The Ear-Dune, they don't even care who they hit. They don't care if they take you with us.
Now do you understand? We've done everything we can. Now we have to escape, both of us.
They're monsters.
I know. I've known for a long time. We can talk more about it later, but right now, run!
Yes. Yes, I have to agree with you now. Let's get out of here.
There's a gate near the back. Maybe if we... Down! A volley of arrows guided by flames seared across the sky. I dived under a nearby cart, pulling Edward down with me. I thought we would be safe. I was wrong.
Ah!
Edward, are you alright?
What a shame. Seems I've been hit.
No. No, this is not happening.
Wish we had more of a say in that.
The wound is deep. High enough that...
It doesn't look good, does it? I've heard soldiers say the worst wounds are the ones you don't feel. I don't feel anything. Just the blood dripping down.
No, not like this. There are still options.
Countrymen are getting closer.
They are not my countrymen. The Ear-Dune are not my people.
A man without a people. You were always so dramatic. We had a good time. At least. I should have had more wine.
Just hold on. Keep breathing. I'll find a medic. A Leshen medic.
You'll bring someone back here just in time for the Ear-Dune to lay all three of us to ground. You said it yourself. The only thing left to do is run.
But you're in no condition to run.
Now you're starting to understand.
I won't leave you. No, that is not an option.
Who's being stubborn?
Edward, open your eyes. Edward! Edward! He was gone. Just like that. I didn't even have time to try and use healing magic to keep him alive. I was never a healer, mind you. No training at all. But I would have tried, damn the consequences. And it was too late. I can't say how long I stayed behind that carriage with him. It couldn't have been long. Because I did manage to get away from the Ear-Dune. But it felt like an eternity there, holding his lifeless form in my arms. He died in my arms, Sophia.
Aw.
I'm sorry about that, Edward. I understand you were in pain, but that doesn't make up for your lies.
I understand.
I need some time to think about this.
I can only ask you one thing. Please, do not tell my mother about this. I know that she hired you, but she is not the person she is pretending to be. She has always been loyal to the Ear-Dune, and I do not believe she is searching for me out of any concern, but to cause an incident between the humans and Leshen.
Why do you think she isn't worried about you?
We haven't spoken in years. The only reason she did not disown me is because I stayed in the military, and she did not know about anything I was doing to undermine the Leshen occupation. She hates humans, and is only using you to cause trouble. Please, promise me that you won't tell her about me.
What do you think? You think we should not tell, or don't promise anything? I haven't finished this, so what do you think? Any suggestions? I think we shouldn't tell. Even though He's teased her badly.
I still don't know how to react to any of this. But I won't tell Tiatha.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell his mom either.
At this point, that is all I can ask of you. I'm truly sorry if I hurt you, Sophia.
Okay. So, we have the answer to that. So, let's go back and let's go talk to Harriman. See what he has to say, because he is her partner. And maybe he can give me some good advice on what to tell the mom, because the mom needs to know something. I just gotta figure that out.
My head is spinning.
Harriman, we need to talk right now.
Sophia?
Did you find anything out? Find anything out? Oh, you better believe I found something out. Calm down, Sophia. How can I calm down? I've been keeping as calm as I possibly, but now that I'm back home, I'm done calming down. Take a deep breath and tell me what's going on.
What a mess.
Edward! Edward isn't Edward. What was that? Edward died during the war, not Fulren. And the Edward that's here in Vodask, that Edward is actually Fulren. How is that possible? The same way I turned into a cat yesterday morning?
That's right.
That's right. Anya mentioned that Fulren was a polymorph. But even Fulren could use polymorphy. The Sacrament of Tears, he shut himself off from the Fae while he was in Edward's form.
This is what we're looking for.
Exactly. I cannot even imagine what would drive a person to do such a thing. He must have truly hated magic or his people. Even I, in my most doubting moments, do not know what I would do without my connection to the Fae. I can't process this. Edward and we became close. He knows that. I warned you that this was dangerous. I thought I would help the case, and it seemed fun. I had no idea what I was getting into. Does it bother you that you were intimate with a Leshen?
It's not like that.
He doesn't even consider himself a Leshen anymore. Does that make sense to you? Well, he has physically eliminated the differences between our peoples. That is to say, the physical differences on the exterior. I do not know about the interior. When you change into a cat, you clearly have the internal organs of a cat. That would not be necessary to take on human appearance, because we are shaped so similarly. So without a thorough examination, I would not be able to tell you.
You can't be serious.
This is confusing enough without considering whether he has a larger pair of lungs or a second liver. Spleen. We have two spleens. And you're right. The most interesting question is whether he will age or experience physical decay. That will take time to discern and may actually be insightful into answering that question for yourself. If the Fae doesn't randomly kill me like you keep threatening, I'm not threatening, but yes. What do you think, Harriman? Can a Leshen just cut himself off from the Fae and become a human? That's what I was trying to say about his internal organs. I'd have to examine him too. Forget the internal organs, I guess. I guess I'm talking about society. If he keeps his secret, no one will plausibly ever know he was once a Leshen. They might figure out that he's not Edward Galkin, but they'll never guess that he was born a different species. Does this make him human?
As a doctor?
I'm a medical doctor, Sophia, and even though magic is a large part of my healing practice, even this is too far afield for me. But what does your gut tell you? I don't know. I'll admit that there is some part of all this that makes me supremely uncomfortable. But that might be just my own horrific action to the thought of being cut off from the Fae. And if that's the primary distinction, what am I? Now, you're really going beyond the scope of questions we should be asking right now. The most important thing to figure out is what we're going to do with this information. I've barely even thought about that. Neither of our people will respond well to discovering that who Edward used to be. Lushan will see him as a traitor. Humans will treat him like a freak at best, or a possible spy at worst. And that's without considering that he's impersonating a son of a very wealthy house.
Moving on.
Tiatha is our client and will likely expect a report from us now that we found her son. But Edward begged me not to tell her and claims she's actually an extremist. Can't imagine she'd be happy to find out what he had decided to do.
However,
You never know. Family sometimes transcends beliefs. Perhaps having a son who prefers to be human could soften her against the extremism. Suddenly you're taking her side? Just offering another possibility. Perhaps the sheer joy of finding out that her dead son yet lives will change her. Edward doesn't think so. Well, Edward desperately wants to keep this quiet. Luca wanted me to inform him of any developments, and I'm sure Anya would want to know if Faloran is still alive. I doubt she's any good at keeping secrets, though. Oh, that's true. She spills the beans. Even Viola wanted to know the results of my investigation, though that was far more friendly than professional. We're under no obligation to keep Edward's secret, especially since we were hired to discover it. I just want to make sure you think over what the consequences might be out of telling anyone. Trust me, there's not much else I've been thinking about.
you should rest.
You should take this night to consider this and make your decision in the morning. What if Edward flees the city? From what you have told me, Edward, I almost believe he deserves a head start for what we may bring down upon him.
Hey!
Hey, he lied to me. Not out of malice, but fear. What do we lose if he runs? The truth is no plausible if he's here to be examined unless he's going to start admitting it to everyone. I suppose that's fair. I really need a drink.
You insist.
This time I won't even argue with you. The Winter Palace?
Oh, really?
You're tagging along again? This is a lot for me to digest as well, Sophia. I'm sure a glass of wine would be very helpful in that pursuit. Finally, you're starting to understand me. Let's go into the bar. Oh, thank June. Anya isn't here. We could have gone to another bar. Are you sure you didn't want to run into her? Well, let's just get our usual booth. I don't know if I want to commit to having a usual booth. You don't want to make this a tradition? Do you remember how last night ended? I'll try and behave this time. That is good to hear. So, our usual booth? Excellent! Bartender, a whiskey and a red wine for the booth near the back. Now let's talk about anything other than Edward.
If you prefer.
You mean Fulrin. Ooh, what did I just say? You don't want to keep talking about, though, through it. That's the last thing I want. I'd rather go over how dangerous my magic is for the 100th time. Have you been using it? When needed. When do you need to become a cat?
Magic.
The city is full of stray cats. No one notices an extra one. Okay, so what would you like to talk about? Let's go with Harriman.
How about this?
How are you holding up with all of this going on?
I don't understand.
I know that Fulrin was not the only Lushan who came to dislike the people during his... I can't read. I know that Fulrin was not the only Lushan who came to dislike his people during the war. Listen, I'm not the only reason you're in Vodosk. You've admitted as much to me before. I'm here because I owe you my life, and because studying you is an incredible research opportunity. And because you don't want to return the Lushan lands. Fulren and I are completely different. I don't dislike Lushan, I dislike the Irdun. And disbanded as they might be, they were part of Lushan culture for centuries. There is no escaping their lingering influence. I just want to make sure that you're doing okay. This case might be bringing up some hard feelings, and I want to be sure. I'm fine, Sophia. You're always worried about me. Let me be worried about you for once. Like Fulren, you're basically left your family and your city. Do you ever think about them? Do you worry one day that your mother will show up in Vodosk looking for you? I doubt my family will try and track me down. I was very clear why I would not be returning to Kaldi. Besides, they know where they can find me if they so desire. I am making no effort to hide.
But
don't you miss them? I mean, it's not like they were hardcore Irdun supporters, right? No, as soon as the tide turned against the Irdun, they sided with the Alliance and helped take control of Kaldi.
Quite disappointing.
But ultimately, what does that really say about them? They knew which way the wind was blowing, like most Lushan. They didn't do anything until the tipping point. But in the end, they were on the right side of the history, and who am I to talk? I never stood up to the Irdun until the immolation. I never even considered that there was another way we could have united as a people. You said you were doing fine, but that's not what this sounds like. Sounds like something else. Something about this case is resonating with you. Resonating with you? I could never get over my connection to the Fae, but I understand one part of it. Sometimes it feels like our people are too much of one mind. For years we did the Irdun's bidding. Even though many of us had any doubts, and some like Fulren even undermined them, we never broke away. Then in an instant, it was all over, across all of Lushan land. With little central organization at first, we all rose up and ended the reign of the Irdun. Isn't that a little odd? Where was that passion before? The immolation was a big deal. We know better than anyone. I know. Still, it's hard not to find when we were all connected whether sometimes my thoughts and desires aren't my own. And how could I ever learn to distinguish them if they were?
not again.
Damn it! How did we manage to find another heavy topic to worry about?
If you insist.
You asked. Okay, let's see. Let's go with the Krovikan Church. They're odd anyway. Strange how the Krovikans ended up involved in this after all. What did you think of the church?
I don't trust it.
I have mixed feelings. They are clearly a source of great knowledge about the world, though they keep so much of it in secret. I had years of teaching that they have heretics and sought to destroy Dune and the Fae. I know now that's not true, but that makes it difficult to trust them. I grew up in a fairly religious family, so they were always just around. My mother made me occasionally undergo vision readings, but they never did anything for me. What are they supposed to do?
I think.
Give you insight into things that are troubling you. Lower your stress level. Basic stuff. I prefer talking to a friend about my troubles, not some stuffy priest in a dark room. Understandably. I never formally became a member of the church. Once you do that, there are the other rituals and lessons you take, as well as rigorous thought auditing. A part of me was always curious where that led, but the church's biggest ritual, the Sacrament of Tears, was available even to non-believers, so I guess I thought it didn't lead anywhere. Available to non-believers? Wait a minute. Available to non-members for a substantial fee. Whatever the sacrament is, it's easily the most expensive substance in the land. We've had to save for years to get a single drop of it. The large houses are able to afford it with ease. Yes, well, if I was still in good graces with my mother, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem to get a dosage. Oh, I would love to study it.
Have my
You'd never get the chance. Even if we purchased a drop, it never leaves the church hands. It is administered on site by the patriarch of the region. Oh, how unfortunate. Okay, last one. Dune's Shadow. What do you think about these hidden extremist groups called the Leshen? Among the Leshen. Had you heard of them before? There were always stories of Leshen who thought even the Irdun were too moderate, too conservative in how they pushed their agenda. But I always took them with a grain of salt. Why is that? The Irdun were brutal enough in their ways and did not tolerate dissent. Secret societies, even ones dedicated to the writings of the Irdun prophets, would be considered outsiders and hunted down. Maybe that's how they learned to keep secrets so well. I suspect that these groups are relatively recent, probably Irdun who have now been forced into hiding. Though, to be completely honest, I've spent the last decade between the Great Forest and human territory. Haven't returned west of the forest once. I'll admit I have no idea what is going on in the larger cities. It's entirely possible that fringe groups have emerged.
Does anything else come to mind?
Never ran into one in the forest? Not once. Plenty of Irdun, though. Nah, I think I just want to sit here and relax. Did I miss something? Huh. I know this kind of place isn't your ideal evening, Haramon. You don't have to keep me company all night. Not going to do anything foolish. I can't promise that. Fine.
What?
Wait, what? That's it? No lecture, no worries about how I might blurt something out or turn into a cat? No reminder of what happened last night? You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. I can? She beat up a bartender and ended up in the gutter, is what they're talking about. I've finished my wine. I'll be back at the office winding down. At first, I don't know what to think. What's gotten into Haramon? I'm relieved I don't have to listen to his lecture, but it just seems wrong. Normally, I'm perfectly fine sitting alone at the bar, drinking long into the night. I suddenly feel alone. There are people everywhere, but I'm a stranger to them all. Suddenly, I don't want to be surrounded by them. I wonder if that's what Fulren felt like all the time before he was cut off from the Fae. Rather than stay at the Winter Palace, I passed the bartender enough gold for a full bottle and walked out of the door. That night, I dreamed of the Onegrad Fae reactor. The reactor is a common sight in my nightmares. At the center of the device is a massive rift into the Fae. It is a portal of glimmering light, almost blinding to the eye. Surrounding the rift are large metal pylons and thin, spindly antennae that draw out magical energy. One reactor can power an entire county with efficient wiring. The strange thing is that I've never seen the interior of the reactor. Only technicians are allowed inside the building housing the rift. But I know this is what it looks like. Since the dreams began, I sat out drawings and confirmed. I find myself walking towards the reactor. As I approach, the device begins to fall apart. The rift flickers, and the multicolored energy begins to restrict and expand in a steady rhythm. The pylons bend and break apart. Scraps of metal are pulled into the rift, exploding into sparks as soon as they touch the unstable energy. I don't want to walk around the rift, but I am compelled. I cannot turn away. I cannot stop myself, even as I feel the stirring heat from the magical energy, even as I hear what sounds like screams inside. When I wake up, my mouth feels like sandpaper. My head is pounding. I realize I'm not in bed, but on the couch of my office. My back hurts and I can barely focus my eyes to see that I almost finished off the bottle I purchased at the bar.
Sophia?
You're awake? Haramon is sitting at my desk across from the couch. I wonder how long he's been there. I don't even know what time it is. So what part of this case are you trying to forget?
My head is spinning.
All of it. I thought you were holding up better. So did I. Guess I got carried away. Here's a potion that will help with your headache. Smells awful. Of course it does. Well, here goes nothing. Oh God, ugh.
Focus.
Just keep it down for a few seconds and then you'll thank me. I'm trying. Okay, I can see again. Oh, wrong voice. Sometimes I'm not noticing whose voice I'm supposed to... I'm not good at, changing my voices. So, sorry. I try. So like I was saying, what were you trying to forget? Something I thought of last night. You wrote it off as nothing, but... Edward considers himself a human because he's not connected to the Fae. He seems to truly believe he is transformed. I still don't understand what that means for me.
As a doctor?
Well, as your doctor, I can say that you have no Lushan physiology.
It's not like that.
That's not what I mean. Even though musicians have no real lasting connection to the Fae, they can force out a little energy at great cost, but it's nothing like real magic. It's almost defining a characteristic of humans that we can't access the Fae. What are you saying? If I accept that Edward is a human because of what happened to him, do I have to consider that I'm something else? Not human, not Lushan, but something else? Edward chose what happened to him. He wants to be human, and on some level he depends on everyone accepting this as true. You never made a choice. This was forced upon you.
I need more.
Why is this
I have a
different?
theory.
It just is. If Fulren lost his connection to the Fae, it took human form, and still wanted to be called a Lushan, I'd hope that my people would still have him. Whether or not he is accepted as a human, should his past be discovered, is now on your people. This is also confusing. Trust me, I understand, but you can't get caught up in doubting yourself just because of what one man did. You're still a human. You just happen to be able to connect to the Fae. Just because it's never happened before doesn't mean it can't happen at all. I suppose you're right. I still get drunk like a human, so there's that. Lushan get drunk. Yes, but you don't throw up. Oh, I haven't been to the bathroom yet this morning. I suppose I should let you clean up first. I haven't been in the bathroom. Okay. I don't remember, but I think that's a good idea. Dragging myself off the couch takes more effort than I'd like. It's a short trip to the bathroom in the back room of the office, but it feels like an eternity. I barely have time to clean up and fix my hair before I'm interrupted by a loud knock on the front door. We're closed! My voice is hoarse and my throat scratchy, but I think I get the message across from the back of the office. Then I hear who's knocking. Sophia, it's me. I want to talk. There's no avoiding it. I'm not going to be able to dodge him. I don't even know if I want to. I still want to understand. Just a second. I wash my face as quickly as I can and hurry to the door.
Huh?
Edward, I'm surprised to see you here.
Of course.
You thought I'd give you up on you just because you found out about my past? I thought you'd run, flee the city before anyone can find out about you. Huh? I suppose I could have done that. But then, everything I've done, my choice to take Edward's form, it would all have been for nothing. It wouldn't only be dead. He wouldn't only be dead. He would be disgraced. You're so sure I won't tell anyone who you really are?
Please.
I really am Edward Galkin, just not the first Edward Galkin.
I have my doubts.
That's still incredibly hard for me to understand. If you go around saying that I'm Fulren, you'd be lying to them. I'm not Fulren anymore. I ended that life when I took the Sacrament of Tears. It wasn't a pleasant experience, I assure you. Emilia did not warn me that it would be so painful, though I suppose that is not her fault. How could she have known? And it wasn't just the moment I was severed from the Fae. It persisted like a wound for weeks, all through the hearings into my reappearance. Which is better than what you felt before? Considerably. I have not regretted my decision once, and I am at home here in Vodesk as a human, more at home than I've ever been among the Leshen.
Anyway,
Why did you come here? Even if you don't plan to flee the city, I figured I would be the last person you'd want to see.
Good to see you again.
I just wanted to see you, Noivna.
that's cute.
I haven't told anyone yet, if that's what you want to know. And I still haven't decided what to do with what I found out yesterday. I won't push you any further, and while preparing myself for disaster was part of the reason I came here, it's not the only reason. Go ahead.
This isn't what I wanted.
I couldn't sleep last night. I realized how badly I handled this situation, and I fear there's no going back. You are the only person other than Amelia who knows about my past. That gives us yet another connection, one that should have deepened our friendship instead of destroying it.
Say again.
It's a little late to figure that out. I now know that. I just thought I could hide it forever. I thought it would never matter, but you were too persistent. I should have seen it forthcoming. Patrick Manson knew something was going on. He would have figured this out eventually, even without me poking around. You should have known you could never keep something this big from the world. But it's the only way I know peace.
Let's just get this over with.
Here's the thing, Edward. Some of us don't get peace. It's not fair, but it's true.
Alas.
Does that mean I shouldn't try? Of course not. Just be aware of hurting others along the way. If you decide to tell my mother, will you at least let me know once you've done it? I'm not going to leave Vodesk, but I need time to prepare for what might be coming. Yes, Edward. I'll tell you once I've completed my job. You know where to find me, Nulivna. Okay. Let's go tell Mama. Mama's staying here at the Winter Palace. Oh wait. Tetha's staying in one of the rooms. They both will want to know the results of my investigation. I can either tell Tiatha the truth or tell her Fulren is dead. Am I ready to make that decision, or do I want to talk to anyone else first? Who should I go see? Anya's the first person I should talk to.
Hi there.
Hi, Sophia. I see you're here bright and early this morning. How's Harriman doing? Well, as can be expected. Well, what can I get for you? Actually, I'm not here for a drink. I'm here to tell you that I've closed the case on Fulren Adak. Oh? I know you've been close, and I thought you might want to know what happened. What do you think? Should we tell the truth about Fulren and Edward, or lie and say Fulren is dead? I think we should say Fulren is dead. What do you think? If we tell her, she'll tell the whole town. Probably. Yeah, lie? You want me to lie and say Fulren is dead? Okay, well, let's lie and say Fulren is dead, because she actually used to date Fulren when he was a Leshen. And she was heartbroken when she found out he broke up with her for a man. So she has conflicted feelings about him, I guess you could say. So, okay, let's go with that. Sadly, I was able to prove Fulren died. Oh? I suppose it was it was too much to hope that he somehow survived. Sorry to be bearer of the bad news.
Boring.
I already knew he was dead, but maybe you shouldn't go around giving people any other ideas.
It's not like that.
I was just doing my job. For Fulren's mother, at least she'll be disappointed. Anything else you want to tell me? That's it. Just wanted to follow up.
Well...
Will you be back at the Winter Palace later?
I think.
I'll probably need it. And I may be up for joining you. Wait. Okay. I need to talk to the mom. Anya's at the bar here at the Winter Palace and Tabitha's staying in one of the rooms. Okay. I can tell Tiatha the truth or tell her Fulren the truth or tell her Fulren. Am I ready to make that decision or do I want to talk to anyone else first? Let's go tell her. Tiatha is the person I should talk to. After all, she's my client and she's the one paying the bill.
Lady Recall.
Please tell me you have useful news this time. I'm not in the mood for another friendly chat.
How about this?
Do you still fear for your safety here? Have you run into any humans you knew in the war? I never said I feared for my safety. I can protect myself well enough. I simply fear what would happen for all parties involved if someone lashed out at me. She's a fire mage, that's why. She controls fire. She's a fire mage. I doubt that will happen. A few Leshen have managed to settle here peacefully. We all made mistakes during the war. We're all trying to move on as best we can. And thanks to the war, we all have some manner of rage buried deep inside us, and some people that rage is merely waiting for an opportunity to come out. I hope you're wrong about that. Okay. I'm gonna lie and tell her that Fulren is dead. Because I don't think she could handle him being human. I'm very sorry to tell you this, but I discovered that Fulren truly is dead.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for your loss. Did you find his body? My associate and I believe, we believe that Fulren's body was buried beneath the Krovikan church. That's why his fox keeps going to the church grounds searching for him. That is absurd. How would his remains end up there? It all goes back to the human who supposedly reported his death, Edward Galkin. As it turns out, Edward and Fulren were much more than just acquaintances or even friends. They were lovers. Fulren bedded a human during the war? Your son was a friend to the humans. He even secretly helped a sister of the Krovikan Church, Emilia Osborne. Oh yeah, get her in trouble to help her fight the Leshen occupation.
Don't jump to conclusions.
You make him sound like a traitor. I think he just wanted to keep people from getting hurt. So when the Irdun came to execute the human prisoners, Fulren tried to help Edward escape. While they were running, they both got severely wounded by arrows. Together, Fulren and Edward sought shelter from one person they knew might help them, Emilia. That's how they ended up at the Krovikan Church. Right away, Emilia did what she could for Edward. She gave him a vial of the Sacrament of Tears, breaking sacred church rules by doing so, which healed his wounds quickly. But it was harder to find help for Fulren. Fulren needed a Leshen medic, and they couldn't find a Leshen they trusted in time. Fulren died of his wounds while in the church catacombs, left with no other options. Edward and Emilia buried him there so no one would ever find out. Fortunately, you have me, so I got both to confess. That's how I know what happened to your son. So you wrangled confessions out of two humans who turned Fulren into a traitor? Why should I trust a word from their mouths? Why shouldn't you? Emilia's not exactly proud of the fact that she broke her vows and administered a sacrament. Edward's devastated about everything that happened. He blames himself for Fulren's death. As well he should if Fulren truly is dead. That's a hard judgment, but either way, why would he concoct such an incriminating story unless it was true?
Actually,
The same reason any of us concoct stories, Lady Rykoff, to distract ourselves from a much darker truth. I won't believe Fulren is dead until I see proof, real tangible proof I can hold in my fingers. There must be a way to recover his body. I'm afraid not. Edward and Emilia cremated him. You said they buried him. They buried his ashes. They both had Krovikan beliefs, and they also wanted to keep the real nature of his death secret, so cremation was the natural decision.
Fulren.
They had no right to make such a choice. If Alessian is not buried properly, his spirit may not return fully to the Fae.
But
That would be terrible, but it could also explain why you don't remember feeling his death. I would have felt it no matter how horribly they desecrated his body, and I certainly wouldn't forget. I don't know what you should have felt, Tiatha. I can only tell you that everything I've learned points to the fact. What you've learned points to another theory, not a fact. I'm not here to argue semantics. You hired me to find out what happened to your son, and I did. It's not my fault you don't like the answer. An investigator should know better than to base your conclusions on conjecture, but I can see that you're convinced nonetheless. Here is your gold, Lady Rykoff, but I'm only paying you in order to conclude our business. I will keep looking for Fulren myself.
maybe?
This isn't the first time a customer hasn't been displeased with my report or met it with a complete denial. But in this case, Tiatha, I urge you not to dig any deeper. People are still trying to heal from the wound. This issue will only turn people against each other and probably against you too.
You don't understand.
How many times must I tell you, Sophia, I never needed your protection. I no longer require your help, and I certainly don't want your advice. So kindly get out of my sight. That's one mean mama. Okay. Let's go talk to Harriman. Our buddy Harriman. We need to talk to him. And it's getting cold in my house. I probably one of these days should turn the heat up. Okay, it's done.
So you did.
You've spoken to Tiatha? I told her that Fulren is dead, which, if you believe Edward, isn't that much of a lie. Did she believe you? Not sure. She was furious. She said she'd keep looking, but she seemed particularly angry with the church because I told her that Emilia cremated him. So maybe on some level she accepts that he's dead? And did you get the promised gold?
Got this.
Right
I
here.
appreciate that.
Thank you for not spending it all as soon as you had the chance. I'll get this deposited into our account right away and close the books on this case. Any expenses you can think of? One of our witnesses was at the Winter Palace, so we might be able to count our drinks. Did you itemize this to the client? She wasn't really in the mood to receive an invoice.
Quite disappointing.
They can't expense anything in the books.
Give up.
Damn it. Well, it hardly matters. We're set for over a month after only a little over 2 days of work. Seems like an easy job after all. Easy for us, perhaps, but consider all the old wounds we may have opened up. Isn't that what we do? Besides, I think I covered up the worst one as best as possible. I don't know. Exposing cheaters and tracking down debtors feels a lot more victimless than this. We were paid to find Alessian. We found him.
What's the problem?
And we made a judgment call that he would be better off not found.
So you did.
So that's it. You're satisfied with how everything went down. Yes, I am. Yeah. Of course, this is one of our most lucrative cases ever. Is that all that matters? Oh, now why is he gonna get pissy about? I still need to talk to Edward. About what?
I need more.
I need to let him know how things went with Tiatha. He deserves to hear it from me.
About the case.
So the case isn't closed. You're not perfectly happy with the resolution. It's the least I can do for Edward after upending his world. Hopefully he understands. Oh, hang on 1 second. I have to clean my glasses. I got fingerprints all over them or something. They're all smudged. I can't see. Okay. Fix my glasses, take a drink of water. Gotta be close to the end of this thing. Okay. Just as I'm about to knock, I hear a loud crash. Get out! I'm not interested in anything you have to say. You have no right. I freeze outside the door. As I realize that Tiatha is inside, I had no idea that she would go straight to Edward's house to confront him. I desperately want to know what is going on, but I'm not going to walk in just like this. Ha! Cat time. I remember the way up to the window on the second floor of Edward's house. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to hear Edward and Tiatha from up there and go completely unnoticed. If I'm lucky, I'll have to jump out the window, and I hope that I really will land on my feet. Slipping through the window, I head to the edge of the staircase where I can easily eavesdrop onto Edward and Tiatha.
I will not leave until you tell me what you did to my son.
What? What I did?
You were the last person to see him alive. Did you kill him? Tell me the truth, human. Because I suspect your people are just trying to protect you.
My people? You're going to have to slow down. You can't just barge in here and...
Do not pretend you don't know who I am or what I'm talking about. I can see that glint of recognition in your eye. You don't just know why I'm here, but you know what I can do if you don't answer my questions. I will set this entire house ablaze. I suspect you lied to the human I sent to question you, but you will not lie to me.
What did she tell you?
She said that Fulren died here in Vidotsk, and that you had his body burned immediately.
Yes, that's what happened. That's the truth.
Do you have any idea what that means? What that would do to his spirit? If any of it was true, Fulren would have given you instructions as he died. He would have told you to let his body sit for 2 days. And if you cared about him, you would have. Why are you looking at me like that?
He didn't want his spirit to migrate back to the Fae.
What?
He told me to burn him, Tiatha. He said as soon as he died to make sure his body was destroyed.
Nonsense!
Fulren hated the Fae. He didn't want to return. He didn't want to be reborn as a Leshen.
You're lying to me. All lies. You didn't know my son.
No, Tiatha. You didn't know your son. You had no idea what was going through his head. When was the last time you talked to him? A decade ago? Before he spent years in human territory, seeing what your people did?
I didn't need to talk to him. I felt him. He was always with me.
But he didn't want to be. He hated it. He didn't hate you, no. Not in so many words. The others, though, the other Leshen, they caused him so much pain. And if he was truly with you, you would have felt that pain too.
Stop it! Stop talking like you are anything other than a childish fling for my son. There's no way he said these things to you. Lies. All of it lies.
Volren's gone, Tiatha. He died, just like the private investigator told you. Please, go home.
That's what you'd like, isn't it? For me to just pack up and leave, so you can go on living your delusion, that you were somehow special to my son. But the things you tell me are so clearly wrong. Did you even know him?
More than you could ever understand.
What a deluded fool. You humans, with your insane romantic notions. Why in Dune's name are you smiling?
Nothing. Nothing at all. I truly am sorry for your loss, but...
I should turn you to ash. But this is not your fault.
It isn't?
If Fulren wanted to be burnt, it wasn't you who put that idea in his head. No. A flighty thing like you couldn't have such influence over him.
You truly don't know what you're talking about.
There's one thing you are right about, human. And that is Fulren's mind had been poisoned for quite some time. It was a toxic venom that was introduced long before he met you.
Please calm down, Tiatha. There's no need to blame anyone for what happened to him except the Ear Dune.
Oh. Now you try and deflect the blame to the defenders of the faith? You try and say that his dalliances with humans are somehow their fault. As if he would have been injured if he hadn't been foolishly defending other humans.
The Ear Dune at the camp were killing everyone, regardless of whether they fought back.
More lies. Lies Fulren may have believed. And that's the true problem. They are the ones to blame. Yes. Why else would he have helped them for so long?
What are you talking about?
The Krovakins.
What about them?
They got into his head. They poisoned him with their false goddess, and tales of an afterlife beyond returning to Dune. I tried to teach him, but the warnings never reached through his thick, stubborn skull.
You're really stretching here.
They burned him, and rebuilt their church on his ashes. I will see them crumble.
Tiatha, wait.
Hey there! How's it going tonight, mods? I think I'm getting close to finishing up this story. Hopefully it ends up tonight. Hopefully there's not too much more. To me, it's been a pretty good story. It's got its funny quirks, and it's one of these that you make it change however you want to with your answers, I guess. The door slams shut, and she is gone. I stand there in the stairwell for a moment, stunned at what I just heard. That was one mad mama. How did Edward do it? How did he hold himself together for so long, maintaining the lie that he was not, in fact, her son? How could he listen to all the things she said about him without reacting? I would have surely snapped and revealed myself, but he kept it together and, by all appearances, preserved his cover. Footsteps on the stairs reminded me that I needed to preserve my own cover. I dashed across the room and out the window, carefully finding my way back down to the alley below. Transforming in the shadows, I stepped out just in time to bump into... Oh, Sophia, there you are. I was looking for you. Where did you come from? I thought you might be here, but I didn't see you. I didn't see you just a moment ago. What do I always say? I'm very resourceful. That didn't answer my question, but then again, you never do. When you get a chance... It feels like a bedtime story. It kind of is. Well, it is, but yet it's not. Not by any means. It's a really cute story. The pictures are all hand-drawn. I really like it. And it's funny. The storyline is really funny. It's supposed to be sad, but it's really funny. When you get a chance, please drop by my office. I have some good news. News you can't tell me right here? There's something you should see. Thanks. I'll be by soon. Oops, I cut that off. Oh, wait. I need to go into this guy. This is a low mage. He usually kicks me out. Rykov, more queries? What did you do during the war? Rephrase, war was long, mostly during schooling. What about after? Were you stationed with the army? Mages needed, wellness awards, anti-fertility, structure repair. Never front lines, too dangerous, too few mages, risky. Yeah, I wasn't stationed on the front lines either, but the war came to me. Yeah, I love the artwork in this. Onegrad, correct? Seems like you've done some homework. Rykov, names familiar, strange in Vodesk, far from home, curious, asked questions. And? Curiosity regarding magic, understandable. Many survivors experienced your scars like mine. Magic caused both. That's right. The eye, the blast. See it? I saw the explosion, or I should have, but I don't remember it. Trauma considerable, true for many veterans. Wellness charm, perhaps helpful? Believe me, I've tried wellness charms. A good one might calm me down a bit, but it's hardly enough. No offense. None taken. Effectiveness situational. I'd say that. So if you weren't stationed on the front lines, how did you end up in Vodesk? During occupation, human magic banned, called dangerous, called perversion. Vodesk, no mages. With reconstruction, mages permitted, mages needed, fewer mages, fewer competition. Ah, an opportunist. Nothing wrong with that, though I found there are some people here who might disagree. Some regrets, less competition, fewer buyers. Humans want magic, cannot always afford magic. But in time, wealth will come. Too much history, too much strategic value. Start early, succeed later. Sounds smart, and I'm sure you're doing better than military pay right now anyway. That much certain. That's all I wanted to know for now. Helpful, I hope. Return again if needed. Will do. Okay, it's there. I don't need to go there. I don't need to go there. I know, he's like that through the whole story. At first he doesn't talk to her at all. He keeps kicking her out. Okay, let's see. The church. Let's try the church. Wish I could say the matter of Fulren era deck is over, but I have the feeling it's not. I shouldn't be here now. Okay. This is just gossip. Oh, he wanted her to stop by there.
Let's just get this over with.
Okay, Inspector, what's so important that I had to see in person?
What?
It's not that it's important necessarily, but I didn't want anyone to hear. But you said it was good news. Good news for you, perhaps. I don't know what it means for the rest of us, except that I can close another case. Go on. First off, what I'm about to show you is highly secret. I'm only showing you because you are a person of interest in this case, and I really need to get a second opinion from someone who knows more about the Lushan than me.
Can you give me any more details?
You're building this up, and I'm only going to be disappointed. Take a look at these wires from the Capitol and these from Esternext. Can you give me an executive summary? 6 Lushan prisoners, 4 in the Capitol and 2 in Esternest, recanted their confessions this morning. This is every single witness who implicated the Lushan Sira Ir Alba as an Irdan conspirator. Wait, what are you saying? The Sira Ir Alba investigation has ended. Every single one of the prisoners who informed on her admitted that the story was just that, a story. Let me take a look at those wires. The information I gave you was false. I named Sira Ir Alba as an Irdoan supporter in order to receive preferential treatment from the Empire. Sira Ir Alba does not exist, and she is not hiding in the border region of Vodesk. Oh, you know what? I thought Sira Ir Alba was actually Fulren's mother. Okay, so I guess she's not. I thought it was just a made-up name, and I thought she was Fulren's mother. And she's not hiding in the border region of Vodesk.
I don't believe it.
That's what it says. That's what they all say. Let me see another. The information I gave you was false. I named Sierra Earl Alba as an Irden supporter in order to receive preferential treatment from the Empire. Sierra Earl Alba. Okay. See you later. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by. Does not exist, and she is not hiding in the border region of Vodesk. This is identical. The same exact words were spoken to 3 separate interrogators across 2 cities within a 10-minute period.
What is this?
This is great news. I didn't free any Iridian sympathizers after all.
This is really getting tiresome.
I thought you were sure of that to begin with. Even I had my doubts once you told me that this Sierra or Alba story came from a whole bunch of different sources. So you're saying they all admitted it was fake? With the same exact words.
I hate to
That's
ask
what
you
I
this,
want to talk to you
but
about.
It doesn't add up.
It does seem a little odd. Look, I know I'm being called off this investigation, but the interrogators are naturally embarrassed and want this thing closed as fast as possible. But I can't help but think there's something strange going on. Yeah, this all seems a little odd. You have a Lushan friend. You are close to them. I'm close to one of them. Does this make any sense to you? I can understand all the capital prisoners coming up with the same story, but the ones in Esternest, I can't say that name, and so close together? Maybe this was all part of their plan.
What?
Their plan? They knew they were going to be captured, and they came up with a plan to make the Empire run in circles for a few days. Maybe. But how did they coordinate it within the space of 15 minutes, and why did they use the same exact same phrases? It's a little too perfect, even if they rehearsed it beforehand. And why would they do that? That's what I'm asking you. As I understand it, Lushan can use magic to send messages over long distances. You think that's what happened here? Some kind of undistributed message across multiple Lushan? I don't know, and I have no idea how we could prove it either way. We're talking about something that could just be a coincidence.
In the meantime,
there are plenty of records to look through. Records? The Empire kept very detailed records of every interrogation. All of these records were sent via wire when I assumed the Sierra Alba investigation. It is just a lot of paperwork, and I'll help. You will? Listen, this is all very confusing to me. Maybe more so than my own case. But I think that's what I need.
Are you serious about this?
I don't understand. I could use a bunch of paperwork and witness statements. Let me help you with this. It's probably way less complicated than everything I've been dealing with. I don't know how long I stayed in Luca's office. I lose track of time, and maybe that's the point. I don't want to think about Edward and Tiatha anymore. That case is over. It's solved. I want to be done with it. But of course, it's not that simple. The statements from the Lushan informants are similar to their retractions. Words and phrases are repeated. Sierra or Alba, the woman that Luca was assigned to hunt, appears with identical descriptors in each statement. I dive into the work and suddenly thrilled to spend hours looking over Imperial reports with Luca. But after a while, a pattern begins to take hold.
I think.
All of this starts to show up 2 days ago.
Just as I thought.
I noticed. Don't you think that's strange? Let's assume it's all a lie. What does that give us? A motive. I don't understand.
How about this?
Let's assume Sierra or Alba isn't real. She's a fake Iridian agent made up by the captive Lushan to keep everyone occupied. How? We've had multiple independent reports that she exists, which were all suddenly retracted. So let's assume that was the plan. planned. Think of it this way. What if the Leshen wanted us to be focused on some agent who doesn't exist? They've all admitted that Sierra Alba is a lie. She's not real. Why would several Leshen make up a sub-story about Iriduan sympathizer alive and well in Vodosk? I don't know. Maybe they're just toying with me. Maybe.
This is bigger than me or you.
Wait, you think that's what it is? You think that this is just the Leshen trying to undermine my efforts to keep the peace? Not directly. But what if it's just a distraction? What if this was some kind of feint to enable a Iriduan agent to operate in the city under your nose? I don't follow. When all of those statements came in about Sierra Alba, you focused all your attention on finding her. What if that was the point? What if the Leshen created a ghost for you and anyone else in Vodosk to follow while something else was happening right under your nose? And what was this something else? Before we can come up with a theory, one presents itself to us very loudly. The door in the office slams open and Amelia barges in. Inspector, come quick! Amelia, what's wrong? Patriarch Arcady and several parishioners have been taken hostage inside the church by an elf woman. Tiatha? You seem to be ahead of me on this, sofa. What do you know? I knew she was mad at the Krovigan church, but I had no idea she'd actually do something like this.
This is unacceptable.
This is why you should have come to me first.
Blah, blah, blah.
And what would you have done? You couldn't have known that Tiatha would attack the church. I could have done something. That's a hell of a boast when we don't exactly know what's going on. Sister Amelia, tell me exactly what happened.
May Esther guide you.
And so we seek our progress not for the goal we set, but for the sake of progress itself. Lady Esther teaches us that moving forward can be a goal into itself. Perhaps we miss our objective, but just as often we can overshoot it and discover things within ourselves we did not expect. Stop! She's such a witch. She's a mad mama. Ah, a visitor. I see you're intent on being heard, so... Progress for the sake of progress?
You don't understand.
You preach nonsense and fill those people's heads with lies. I understand that your teachings are different from our own. Perhaps it is value in considering this, and I am not here to have a discussion. Then I must ask you to sit down. When the afternoon sermon is over, I will be happy to hear your concerns, and could even offer you a gaze reading. You must understand me, human. Vengeance cannot be accomplished with words. I do not know what grievance you have with me, but surely you notice that you are alone here. I am not afraid of any of you. I'm not sure Kitty knew who she was, but I did. I fled while he distracted her and slipped out the door just in time.
What next?
Just in time? She set the front of the church aflame. I'm sorry, did you say the front of the church? A wall of fire burst from the door. I could see it flickering through the windows, so at least it was 10 feet tall. There are a dozen people trapped in there with the patriarch. I don't know what the elf woman intends. It sounds like she wants revenge.
Can't be serious.
This is bad!
Bad news.
That sounds like an understatement to me. A fire's happening, people are held prisoners, and these three are still standing in the same office talking. This is all my fault. If only I hadn't told her. Once again, Lady Rycroft, you've caused a mess that I have to clean up. No, let me try.
You're trying that again?
You're not just going to make things worse?
Got this.
Didn't you just call me here because of my knowledge about the Leshen? I think I might be better at negotiating a hostage situation. I suppose I've never been good with Leshen. However, I can't just hand this over to you. The church is imperial land, and I have a duty to protect the citizens inside. I'll be the one to go into the church to talk to her, though. Fine. How would you want me to help? Set up a perimeter. Ready, everyone. Let's set up a perimeter around the church. Ready, everyone at the door. Set up a perimeter around the church. What do you think? Surround the church or get everybody to the front? Keep in mind, the front of the church is on fire. Why would... Ow. That hurt. Surround? Okay, let's surround the church. You and your team should surround the church. I think there's a chance Tiatha isn't working alone. And even if she was at first, as we just discussed, she could have sent out a call for help to other reactionary Leshen. You think this could escalate? I hope not. I hope this is just the dumb lashing out of a grieving mother. But I've been wrong about a lot of things.
Troubling.
Do you have a plan on how to get inside the church?
Any ideas?
I was hoping you could help me with that. The front door can't be the only way. There's a secret passage in the back, but it can only be opened from inside. Think Arcady will be able to open it? Arcady doesn't know about it. Ugh, fantastic. Anything else? There are some windows in the upstairs offices, but they're rather narrow. Perhaps you could squeeze through if you can get to them. That will work. It will? I'm a good climber.
I hate to ask you this, but
I'll assemble my team and head over as soon as possible. I might want to get some help. Oh? Harriman could be useful here. Or maybe Edward Galkin. This is about revenge on him as well as the church. He could be a good distraction.
what next?
Okay, I'll get my people in position for if you screw up.
I've got this.
If I screw up, Artemovich, it sounds like I'm growing on you. Okay, so we need to go... Wait a minute, where are we? Okay, let's go talk to Edward Galkin. See if we can get him, and then we'll go talk to Harriman. I knock on Edward's door, and for the first time there's no response. I'm sure he's shaken up after everything what's happened today, but I need to speak to him. After a few seconds, I pound on the wood and I yell up at the window. Edward, please answer the door! I hear footsteps and the door inches open.
I don't want to think about it.
Listen, Sophia, I have had a very difficult...
What a
Your
mess.
mother has taken hostages at the church. What? She showed up at afternoon mass today, accused the patriarch and the church, and put up a wall of flame, trapping everyone inside. No, this isn't happening. She was angry when she left, but I was sure it was no different from her usual yelling and spouting off about humans. I suppose she may have changed since you last saw her. Tiatha is a passionate and hateful woman, but I have never known her to resort to violence.
How about this?
Other than supporting decades of war?
How unfortunate.
I suppose you're right. It would be a lie to say that she was peaceful, but nevertheless. She's a powerful fire mage. Are you telling me that she never served in combat? She never fought for the Leshen? To be completely honest, I do not know. As I've said, we were estranged. More than anything, I think this is why I'm so surprised she has reacted so emotionally. She's still your mother.
Anyway,
Though, honestly, I think my mother would actually be relieved if someone told me I was dead.
Alas.
Then you understand why I'm so confused. I am truly sorry that she has caused you this trouble, but you must admit that you had a hand in stirring it up. I didn't realize she was violent or that you were still alive when I took the case. Yes, but you did continue to pursue the case even after you were warned of her extremism. And surely you could have come up with less inflammatory story than having my body burned by the Krovigans. I had to explain the fox and why Tiatha wouldn't find a corpse in the church catacombs. That was the best you could do?
it's not like that.
I didn't think Tiatha was so orthodox about her beliefs. The whole bit about needing to let the body begin to decompose, that's a rare position, right? Not beyond the forest. It's fairly common. I think it's nonsense, but regardless. In fairness, had I been the one wounded, I would have wanted to be immediately burned just in case. You didn't want to return to the Fae? My spirit being born as a Leshen without the memories that made me realize why I hated my people? The possibility that my essence would intertwine with that of a killer in a new body? I don't believe much of it, but I wanted to be safe. Listen, I have a plan. I'm going into the church to talk to your mother.
I don't want to think about it.
Haven't you done enough already? No. I mean, I know I caused this mess, and now I'm going to try and clean it up. I can't believe Teotha really wants to hurt you. And if she does, I need to make a way for Inspector Luca and his people to get inside the church. And how are you going to get in? Climb up and squeeze through a window. You climb up to their church windows? I'm more of a climber than you think. Oh, I'm more limber than you think. Okay. I'm gonna ask for help.
Nice.
And I need to clean my glasses again. So, hold on a second. And get a drink of water. Okay, let's see. That's what I wanted to hear. Once I'm inside, I can open up a secret passage that leads to a back alley. That's where you slip in. We'll go talk to Teotha together. Try and calm her down.
Yes.
I fear that seeing me will not calm her down. Have you considered telling her the truth? She's liable to murder me if I do. You really think so? I can only imagine how much I would disappoint her, even disgust her. But if that's what it'll take to save the people of the church, I will consider it. Consider it? I cannot predict my own cowardice, Sophia.
How about this?
Head to the alley behind the church. I will let you in there.
Hmm.
I don't get to see you try to climb to the window? You want me feeling self-conscious about how I look from a strange angle, thinking about things like that are thinking about things like that are the fastest way to fall when climbing? I've never heard that before. Well, it's true. Just trust me. I'll get you into the church and we'll go from there. I hope this is the right thing to do. Okay, now we have to go get Harriman. Oops. Back this way. Let's see, at one point... No, that's not what I want. At one point there was... Oh, wait. No? At one point there was a map that I brought up. In one of the stories I was able to bring up the map. It's only it's not real big, but it's cute. Okay, let's go see if we can talk to Harriman. What am I doing here? I need to be working on a way to fix things at the church. You were supposed to go get Harriman. Oh wait, I need to go. Okay. I forgot I needed to be a cat. This is it. Am I ready to sneak into the church and confront Teotha? Edward is waiting in the alley where Emilia says the secret passage lets out. Am I ready to proceed? Oh yeah, I want to go in and get this over with. I should hurry inside. There's no time to lose. Scaling the wall of the church is a bit more difficult than some of my earlier attempts, but there are enough staggered bricks and windowsills that I can scramble all the way to the upper floor. Yay, she didn't fall. Just like Emilia said, there are open windows with no glass leading into the living quarters of the top floor. Okay, there are open windows with no glass, so even if the windows were closed, if there's no glass in them, she still could have gotten in. Okay, at least that's how I see it. I slip inside, transform back, and hurry through the living quarters down to the main floor. I don't like where Teatha or the parishioners are, so I have to be careful not to be noticed. If I get caught before I can open up the secret passage, I won't have any help on the way. The secret passage is in the catacombs, a part of the church I'm quickly becoming familiar with. I figure that Teatha is most likely in the chapel, so I take the long way around. Through the office at the back of the church, it requires breaking a lock, but I figure Arcadia will forgive me when this is all over with. With no one around, I can use magic to speed up the process. I place my hands on the door and I freeze the lock, cracking it open. Oh, that's right. I forgot. She can use magic. By the time anyone takes a look at it, any sides of my magic will have melted. But then the door swings open and... Sophia, what are you doing here? Anya, I didn't know you were here. I suppose I'm rescuing you. After all this was Fulren, I thought an afternoon sermon might help clear my head. But clearly I was mistaken. Where is Teatha? How did you slip away?
She's gone crazy.
She's in the chapel going through the church records. I don't know what she's looking for. I told the others to stay quiet while I get them out.
How about this?
You going for the secret passage? You know about that? Emilia escaped, told everyone outside about Teatha. Luca's outside with his people.
Thank Esther.
Oh, thank Esther that Emilia made it out. I was afraid that I couldn't find her and that she'd been killed. If Teatha has a complaint against anyone, has she hurt anyone? Just knocked out the patriarch. He was trying to stop her from going through the church records. She took him upstairs and locked him in the residential wing. Wait, Arcades is upstairs? I think so.
Oops.
I didn't see him up there. Then again, I was kind of in a hurry. But that's something I'll worry about later. Can't undo what's been done.
How did you...
Wait, how did you get into the church? Window, just trust me. Come with me and help me with the secret passage. I wouldn't suggest you have everyone try to escape just yet. I'm going to try to talk to Teatha, either calm her down or at least distract her. That will be your chance.
That's odd.
Why are you doing this? You never struck me as a very devout.
Got this.
I'd rather clean up my messes than leave it to Inspector Luca. Let's head to the catacombs. Having Anya with me wasn't part of the plan, but I have to adapt. No more magic. I have to do everything straightforward. It's less fun and considerably less safe. Fortunately, the path to the catacombs is clear, and we find the alcove Emilia described to me. I let Anya manipulate the candlesticks. She has clearly done it before, and within seconds, a loud grinding noise echoes through the empty halls. Uh-oh, do you think Teatha will hear that?
Hurry.
We need to move fast! The nearby wall swings open to reveal a narrow hallway leading up through the foundation of the church. It ends with a heavy wooden door.
Can you give me any more details?
This leads outside? That's right. It looks like one of the wood panels at the rear. Blends right in. The Leshen never found it during the occupation. Or at least no Leshen who would care. Anya leans against the door and it lifts the handle. Pushing it forward, light pours through the passage, almost blinding me and revealing the alleyway behind the church. Okay, push it out a little further and we can leave it propped open for...
Good to see you again.
Ah, Sophia, I was starting to worry that you were going to keep me waiting. Edward Galkin?
Of course.
That's right. What are you doing here? Teatha blames me for the death of her son. I intend to answer to her. She's going to hurt you. Better me than these people.
Maybe?
I don't think she'll really hurt him. She's angry, but... We'll see. You're very optimistic, Sophia.
Hold on.
So what's your plan? I assume the two of you have a plan? We didn't know we'd run into you, so it's evolving.
Look at it this way.
Sophia and I are going to talk to Teotha. You hang back just out of vision. If she becomes distracted enough, start leading the other hostages out. What about the Patriarch? He's trapped upstairs. Even if I get everyone else out, either we manage to talk Teotha down, or we're going to have to find a way to disable her. Inspector Luca has his men outside. He has the building surrounded. If we can chase Teotha out, there's a handful of Imperial soldiers out to take her into custody.
Please.
They are going to just arrest her, right? They won't shoot her on sight, will they?
Don't worry about it.
I trust that the last thing Luca wants is for this to blow out into bigger controversy. Now, wait. Okay, she is a fire mage, and she's just gonna go be arrested peacefully? I'm missing something here. Killing a Leshan, even one who attacked the church, would spark protest and anti-Empire sentiments. What about his fellow inspectors? I don't know them as well, but I'd rather not come to that.
Oh.
Why do you care so much about what happens to Teotha? She probably wants you dead.
Foreign.
I loved Fulren, so I can't hate her. That's just one more reason to make sure this ends peacefully. What is Teotha doing now? She's going through church records, no idea why. It doesn't matter. I'm glad she's occupied with whatever it is she's doing. There's nothing to find here other than Krovikan teachings, and I highly doubt that's any interest of her
Let's
to
just
her.
get this over with.
Let's get going. The three of us climb the stairs leading up to the chapel. I can already start to feel the temperature rise as we approach Teotha's location. So, how powerful is Teotha as a fire mage? She's quite skilled, a dangerous woman to be sure.
How did you...
Okay, now see, she's a fire mage, and they're just gonna arrest her? I don't get that. Anyway, how do you know that? Foreign never told me such things. We had a lot of time at the camp. He eventually opened up about his family. He said that he never knew her to fight in the army, but that was because of her age. After a century, Leshan were not required by the Irduin to serve in the army and were valued more for their intellectual contributions. You must have had a lot of long discussions. Yes, well... Anything I need to know, like how long to expect that wall of fire nearer to the door to stay up? Get her to attack you and it will weaken.
What?
Get her to attack me? That seems like a bad plan.
Alas.
Just telling the truth. There's no way to predict when the spell will weaken. It depends on several factors, from how well Teotha slept last night to what she had for breakfast. The most reliable way to get that wall down is to get her to focus her magical energy elsewhere. You really know a lot about Leshan magic, more than me, and I lived among them my whole life. Lots of time talking to Fulren, that's all. Let's just hope it doesn't come to putting me in a situation where I have to dive out of the way of a fireball, okay? It would actually be more like a wave of flame. Your best bet would be to drop to the ground and cover your face. Sounds great. I want to be clear that you were the one who decided to come here to confront Teotha rather than let the Empire or the county handle this.
Let's just get this over with.
Ideally, I'd like to avoid a war, so I'll stick with the stop, drop, and roll.
What do you think?
If you like, I could go in first. See if she responds better to me this time. I have my doubts. Okay. Should Teotha talk to, or should I talk to Teotha, or should Edward talk to Teotha? I don't know. Who do you think would have a better chance getting out of this situation? Wonder if I don't think Edward would tell her the truth to get her to stop. Yeah, 'cause she'd probably kill Edward or Fullrun or whatever he goes by. Okay, we'll go with Edward. It could be funny, but let's try to save the people. It should be you. I know, unfortunately. You know, I'm no different than from you. I have no way to protect myself if she decides to turn on me. I want to stop him. I want to go out there instead of him, knowing that he's wrong. I could use magic, I could counter Teotha's fire spells, but doing that would put me in danger. I wonder how strong of magic she has. I've just seen her turn into a cat, and she froze that lock. So it'd be cool to see if she's got other fire spells, or other spells. At that point, it seems that Teotha is less likely to attack Edward anyway.
It's not like that.
I don't think she'll hurt you.
Alas.
I hope you're right. Edward emerges from the hallway and approaches Teotha. Wow, he's just got fire all around her. I can see him shaking. Is he frightened or just nervous? He knows Teotha far better than I and is probably more sure of what she can do.
Are you mad?
Stop this madness, Teotha.
Stop it!
I should have known you would show up here. This isn't what Fullrun would have wanted. There you go again, presuming to know my son better than I. No, I only presume to know what I experienced when I was with him. He abhorred violence and would have never wanted you to take hostages and...
Nonsense.
That's enough. You know why I'm here.
What do you mean?
Anger? Sadness? The truth. Why did my son forsake Doom to become a Krovikan? What did they do to him? What did they promise him? He never became a Krovikan, Teotha. Then why would he insist on a barbaric cremation? What did I tell you? Can you even hear what I tell you?
Do you have any idea what that means?
All I hear are lies from someone who thinks he knew my son. A trifling distraction to him, nothing more.
Stop talking.
A trifling distraction? Is that what you think Edward was? What? Edward is losing cool. Oh, wait. Edward is losing his cool. He's about to reveal his secret. I could stop him. I could provide a distraction so he can maintain his cover, but should I? Oh. Should I interrupt or help Edward? Oh, what do you think we should do? Ooh, the story's getting good. Except that mama, man, she's that's, you know, that'd be sometimes that would be cool to like have fire come out of your hands. No, I would probably, with my luck, I would probably set something on fire I shouldn't. I'm clumsy. So what do you think? Interrupt or don't interrupt? Don't interrupt? Okay. Ooh. No, this is the way. This is how we save everyone in the church. Teotha has to know the truth, and Edward has to tell her.
Stop it! Stop this madness, and I'll tell you what really happened to your son.
What?
You want to know the truth? You really want to know? Fullrun didn't die at the prison camp. He didn't die here in Vidotsk. He didn't die in the basement of this very church.
I don't understand. My Fullrun, he's alive?
Fullrun is gone, but he's not dead.
Just tell me where he is.
Are you so blind? Are you so deaf? Just listen to my voice. Listen and hear what you don't want to believe, Mother.
Oh, he told her.
No, it's not possible.
I didn't die. I wasn't taken from you or from the Leshen. I chose to leave you all.
I don't feel you. I see you. I hear your voice, and surely that is you, Fulren. But I can't feel your presence. It's like you're just an illusion.
I'm not an illusion, Teotha, but I'm not joined with the Fae. I severed my connection with the Leshen. I'm free now.
No. How could you?
It was painful. The worst pain I've ever experienced. And it was followed by days of barely abating agony. But it was worth it to be free of your people.
Fulren, no matter what you do to yourself, you are still one of us.
Not anymore. I refuse. I will never rejoin the Fae. I will never reconnect with you or any of your kind.
Ooh.
And it is because of moments like this. You are wielding your power over these people, terrorizing them. They aren't the ones who hurt you. I am. Let them go. Take out your anger on me.
But you're my son. I don't care what you polymorphed into. You're still...
This isn't magic. This is transformation. This is permanent. Don't you see? I'm not your son anymore. I'm Edward, and this is the only way I can be happy now.
You are troubled. I can get you help. Come with me and...
I want nothing to do with you. You forced me to fight in a war I didn't believe in, and somehow I found good in that. I found a way to live with myself. But your people took that from me.
What monstrous insanity have they put in your head?
This isn't them, Mother. This is me. This is who I am. I'm human. If you truly hate humans, take it out on me. I'm the human who took your son from you, not any of them.
I want to punish you. I want to make you see that you are wrong.
Then do it.
I can't. You are my flesh, even though you have defiled it so. This is not what I expected, and I do not know what to do.
Let them all go. There's a secret passage in the catacombs. I opened it up to let me inside. Leave. Go back beyond the forest. Never return.
But what about you?
I'm a human now. I'm where I belong.
No, this is wrong. This is sick and twisted. Someone or something has put you up to this, and I will uncover it.
No one is putting me up to anything, Teotha. I've just decided who I want to become.
So put your fireballs away, Mama.
An abomination.
Please leave, Teotha, or find the courage to fight me with your spells instead of your words.
My Fulren.
I don't understand any of this. But I know you are my son, and I will not hurt you.
I will go peacefully.
Why couldn't she have read that? Teotha turns away from him and hides her face. Is she crying? I can't tell. Before he can chastise her again, she flees back towards the far end of the chapel. I consider going after her to make sure she is captured. But in the end, I respect Edward's decision to let her leave. Oh. Everyone, stand down in the name of the Empire. Luca, the danger has passed. You can put your gun down. Oh, check out the gun. Oh, now that's cool. It's got like chains going around it or something. Little chain things. That's a cool gun. Where the hell is the Leshen woman? She's gone. She left out the back. Luca and his men quickly take control of the church. He sends one of his inspectors towards the secret passage where Teotha fled, only to find out that she had been captured by the others who set up around the church. Yay, we caught her. But, okay, see, that still does not make sense to me. This woman is a fire mage, and she goes out and she gets captured. How come she's able to be captured? That part of this does not make sense to me, because she's a fire mage. She just set the church on fire, and she's got fire mage, and she could burn those people, but I'm lost on that part of it. The remaining hostages are evacuated and the church is empty. Luca's inspectors go upstairs to find the patriarch, and he approaches me for the first time since he arrived.
Nice work.
Nice work, Sophia. You knew my men were waiting outside the secret passage and you brought Teotha right to us.
True.
Was she mad? Furious, but we were able to sustain her before she could attempt to spell. Ah. gun magical neutralization. Maybe that might have been it. They were able to get her, maybe put her hands like it. Well, they didn't actually. I don't think they had cuffs. They had kind of cuffs back then, so maybe they just had to keep her hands down or something. Okay, that's good. I didn't want to put anyone in danger. Look, we present this the right way to the Empire, and it could be the start of your redemption.
Huh?
My redemption? You could get your commission back, return to the army, or join the inspector's office as an officer. Today, you put a valuable extremist asset in our hands, largely all by yourself. I'd love to have that on my record. Then you go ahead. You can have it. I don't want my commission back. I realize you might be making more money as a private investigator, but the Imperial payroll is steady and there's always room for promotion. Maybe this could be the first step in reconciling with your family and...
No!
Listen, Artemovich, I don't want any of that. I'm fine where I am.
Are you serious about this?
You are? Yes, the last thing I need is to have Imperial Lapidus looking over my shoulder every time I breathe funny. My office generates with a great amount of independence. But I wouldn't. I'm a Rykov and an on-regret survivor. And I've been accused of high treason. Trust me, I'm shocked that Lapidus doesn't have you giving him reports on my activities. Trust me, I don't have any orders like that. But isn't that all the more reason to get back in his good graces?
I have my doubts.
I'd rather he keep ignoring me, to be honest. Sometimes I don't understand you. Oh, that's true too. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, bind can silence. Silence can do that to a mage. But these guys, these humans aren't magic, remember? She's magic. She's got magical powers. And they've got the lower mage who screws everything up. And then they've got the police officers. So magic can shut down magic. So maybe your magical neutralization gun thing works. We'll go with that, I think. Sometimes I don't understand you, Rykov.
Edward?
I guess I should check on Edward as well. He's probably all shaken up. Shame he got all caught up on all this just because of who he fell in love with. You're getting over the human-Leshan relationship? Don't get me wrong, it's still strange, but that doesn't mean they deserved any of this.
Edward?
How are you holding up? I can't believe that through all of this you managed to keep my secret under wraps. I know how important it is to you.
Of course.
It's my life, it's how everyone sees me. When you discovered who I used to be, I was sure that it was all over. I started to plan how I would adjust, how I would try to explain to people. My choice wasn't easy, and I know it is confusing. I thought I would have to make them understand.
I wonder.
Someday, you may choose to tell someone else, but it will be your choice, not mine. Thank you, Sophia.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, the thing I regret most is lying to you. Yeah, 'cause he had her running all over freaking town and thinking he was hot for her. I didn't think about how it might affect you when you learned who I used to be, and I let our relationship advance to a point where learning the truth was truly uncomfortable. I probably didn't make it easy since I was investigating you. Still, I should have told you, not just because you deserve the truth, but I should have seen you would find it eventually. On some level, I think I was trying to deceive you all the more. I probably would have done the same thing. Anyway, I just wanted to apologize. Feel free to drop by my house when this is all cleared up. Maybe we can discuss this further in private. I'll consider it. Be well, Nulievna. Okay. Harriman. Let's go check on Harriman. Harriman should know these things. Harriman probably should know his case is closed. Because his case was looking for the Sierra or Alba.
Sophia?
Ah, Sophia. You have been gone quite a while, trying to pick up a new case so soon?
What a mess.
Tiatha Aldec took hostages at the Krovikan church. What? I like how his eyes get really big. It's funny. Don't worry, I took care of it. You took care of it? What does that mean? In the end, you were right. We probably shouldn't have taken the case. We learned quite a bit about the interaction between magic and the tools of the church. I wouldn't discount that as valuable information. And the gold was appreciated.
Wait a minute.
Wait, now you're glad we did all this, despite everything that happened?
If you insist.
There is no undoing what has been done. I'm trying to be optimistic, Sophia. Don't you always say that you want me to be more optimistic? Yes, but when you actually do it, I start to feel weird about it. Besides, it's hard to think about how good that might have come out of this case when we could have ruined Edward's life. I know he cuts a sympathetic figure, Sophia, but please remember, he did bring this upon himself. Sealing himself from the Fae and living as a human, this is harmless, even if I personally cannot understand it. But he also stole the identity of a real person. And he picked a rather conspicuous target, the son of a wealthy human family and a man who actually died in the event he chose to fake his death.
This is not fair.
None of it was out of malice, and he can't take back what he's done.
However,
Surely, he didn't make the decision lightly. Not the decision to become human, but the decision to become Eddard, specifically. I don't know. I think he hoped it would let him hide in plain sight. And he says he wanted to honor Eddard.
this could have gone.
No matter what, I hope that man finds peace. I wish I'd been more like him during the war, more willing to stand up to my superiors, more willing to undermine the Iriduan's influence. I could have done so much more.
It's not like that.
You can't beat yourself up about what happened. I was on the other side, and I didn't even realize how brutal the Iriduan could be, killing prisoners, destroying an entire city. Even the worst anti-Leshan propaganda didn't reveal that much violence, so how could you know what your people were up to? I saw enough of it, but until the immolation, I just didn't realize how real it was. The Iriduan weren't just demigods, they were also maniacs, and they manipulated us to serve them for years. Somehow Forward saw through them. Whatever they did to me, they failed to do to him, and I can't help but feel that I failed on some level. You didn't fail. You did the same thing I did. You fought for your people you were born into. The Empire certainly wasn't blameless during the war, but I signed up to be an officer just like my family expected.
If we could
Yes.
change the past.
Yes. Well, you were born during the war. I'm much older than you. I should have known better. And it was easier than I thought when I thought none of us resisted. When every one of us turned on the Iriduan after the immolation, but now I realize that some of us knew much earlier.
I have my doubts.
Fulren wasn't like you. He wasn't like any Leshan I've met. But that's what I don't understand. Why weren't more of us like him? He was miserable being who he was. That doesn't mean he was wrong. What was it you said a few minutes ago? There is no undoing what has been done? Aha, fair enough. I just have trouble reconciling that Fulren we have learned about and the Edward we now know and myself. That's a heavy task for just one evening. How about this? We start this over with your original perspective. We solved the case, we got our gold, and no one was hurt.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Sophia. Now, based on what happened with the proceeds from our last case, I have already paid our rent for the next 2 months for the money Tiatha gave us.
What?
The next 2 months? But I could be dead before that's over.
Please be careful.
Please don't joke about that. Sorry. We still have quite a bit left over. After everything you've been through, I suppose you'll want to go out tonight. You better believe it. Let's see. Well, if you haven't tired of my company, I'd be glad to come along. Though if there's anyone else you'd rather accompany you, what do you think? Harriman, I think Harriman wants to go hang out with his buddy, or I think Harriman has a crush on her. So, what do you think? Ask someone else. Who else does she talk to? There would be Luca. No, I wouldn't want to go out with Luca. Let's see. She's still at odds, kind of, in a weird way, with Fulren, Eddard. Anya. No. What do you think? Who do you think? Ask someone else or ask Harriman to go with you? Yeah, I agree. I think he needs this too. And I think he has a crush on her.
Let's get into trouble.
Who better than you, partner?
I appreciate that.
I'm glad you feel that way, despite what happened last time. I'll try not to get nasty again so quickly. That would certainly be appreciated. I'll meet you there in a little bit. I might want to walk around town a little bit more before I call it a day. I understand. See you there. Who would we go see? Okay, the bar is the Winter Palace, so we're not going there. Let's go see. Nope, there's nothing there. And I don't care about the gossip. Let's check out the church. Make sure after what just happened. Nope, we're not going to disturb the church. Why is she walking around? So there must be something that we have to talk to, or somebody we need to talk to. No, that's the city guy. Let's go back and talk to the bat. Oh, maybe. No. No, it says nothing in his house. There's nothing here. Because the city hall wouldn't have anything for her. Oh, I went the wrong way. See, I get lost. There's only three areas and I get lost. Didn't let me go. Oh, wait a minute. Where did I mess up? Oh, I know where I messed up. Oh, duh. Okay. It's down here at this end of town. Outskirts. But who would be? Military? No. He's not answering. Okay. Welcome to the Vodos Banquet Hall, home of the Vodos Dramatic Players. No, there's nothing here for me. So why did I able to go inside? I'm gonna go back to the bar. Are you gonna be on tomorrow? Did I go the wrong way? Where the hell's the bar? Yeah, see, I went to... Oh, try the cat at Ed. Oh, no, it won't... Oh, there it goes. There's nothing for me to look into here right now. Okay, so turning into a cat wouldn't work.
Shall we?
So I have to know, was this case that will finally get you to stop complaining about boring infidelity claims and lost pets? Come on, Harriman, you know me. I get bored easily. The next few simple cases will be a relief, but then you'll start wishing someone would set fire to the church. No, nothing like that. I just hope that the next juicy case won't leave me feeling so gross. Prying into Edward's life was for someone who might be connected to the Irdoon is not what I'm looking for.
Please be careful.
It's not Edward's life I'm worried about. You know, Sophia, one of the reasons that we chose to live here in Vodesk was to hide from prying eyes. But now you've introduced yourself to the Krovikan Patriarch of the region, as well as a commander in the Imperial Army. To be fair, Viola Aristov already knew me. She was on the Honorary Commission. All the more reason. It would have been better if she didn't know you were in Vodesk. What's your point? This isn't how you hide, Sophia. My mother disowned me. I'm nobody now. As long as I'm far away from the Imperial Court so I can't embarrass anyone, no one cares what I do. Are you absolutely sure about that? If some part of this story filters up to Imperial Lapidus, he's not going to react when the name Rykov is part of the briefing. His advisors aren't going to ask your family what you're doing out here, interfering with people he sent to secure the alliance or subservience of the region. I don't know, but I'm not interfering with anything. I took a case and then it happened to involve the army and the church. That's bound to keep happening. There are a lot of veterans here in Vodesk. And would it be any better if our cases had us working around the county government?
I just want you to be safe.
I would just prefer to keep a lower profile in the future, attract as little attention as possible. Oh, trust me, I agree with you. The last thing I want is to face another Imperial panel. Speaking of which, Sierra or Alba, am I to understand that that was all just a ruse? Seems that way. A few Leshan prisoners made up the story to keep the Imperial Inspector busy for a couple days, probably to distract from Tiatha's presence in the city. Do you think Tiatha was doing anything here other than searching for Fulren?
Can you give me any more details?
What do you mean?
I don't trust it.
Did you ever get any indication she was meeting with the other Leshan, organizing against truce or anything of the sort? I have no idea. I cannot imagine that the extremists, Dion Shadow or whoever they might be, would go to all that effort over a missing Leshan presumed dead. Without already knowing the time, they couldn't have guessed Fulren give them the flashpoint they wanted.
It doesn't add up.
Speaking of Dion's shadow, isn't it a little strange that Simeon Earshift told us that Sierra Ear Alban was a member?
One can only
Huh?
guess.
I suppose you're right. Now this resources may have been working with those Leshan prisoners to funnel disinformation into the city, but he seemed awfully sure of himself. It's too late now, but I'll have to follow up with him eventually. Maybe he can shed some light on what happened. Or maybe we need to start questioning whether he can be trusted. I suppose this hasn't felt much like a celebration so far. Then we should change that. A toast to another closed case.
Nice.
To another closed case.
Fantastic idea.
And to a lack of spontaneous transformations. That's a toast I can always get behind. I was sure you'd get yourself into trouble somehow with that power. You showed remarkable restraint. I wonder how long this power will last. Outside of the basic ice magic and glamours you are generally able to use, your abilities seem to shift approximately every week. You've been keeping track?
As a doctor?
I'm your doctor, and keep in mind that this is an average over 2 months, so it may very well be meaningless.
Remind me.
Hey, remember that day I could create thunderstorms? Sophia, how many times do I have to tell you? That was just a regular storm. It wasn't magic. I definitely created it. No, you didn't. You were asleep when it started. I was dreaming about storms. That's not how weather magic works.
Too bad.
We'll just agree to disagree. So what do you think of Anya? Disappointed she's not here tonight? Yes. Well, I don't really know what could come of it. I don't really have time for a relationship of any sort, except for you, of course. Except me? How does a Harriman really feel me? Should we press him about the relationship or not to press him? Yes or no? I think he's got a crush on her. Do I really keep you from bringing other ladies into your life romantically, I mean?
It's possible.
You require a great deal of attention. Ugh. Do you know how awful that sounds? I'm not a child who needs babysitting, and I don't want to keep you from pursuing other desires in your life. When you imply that I'm holding you back, it makes me feel like shit. That's not what I meant to imply.
You can't be serious.
What then? Do you not want romance in your life? That's not true either. It's just that I out with it. Being with you is all I really desire right now. And it's as simple as that. See, he's got a crush on her. I just know it.
Oh.
No, that didn't sound quite right. Harriman takes an unusual large gulp of wine. Or maybe it did, if that's how you really feel, Harriman. Stop. Just stop right there. But I want you to know that. Please, I don't want to know. I don't want to talk about this. Why not? Because it wouldn't end well, quite likely, and I don't want to take that risk. Risks are what make life interesting, Harriman. Risks are also what can turn something beautiful and wonderful into disaster. So that's the end of this conversation. He likes her, I just know it. He takes another swig of wine. I notice his hands are shaking. See, he likes her. Fine. You're almost finished with your beer? Shall I call over the waitress? Actually, I think I'm finished. Really?
How about this?
And no stopping by a liquor store on my way home tonight. I'd like to try one of those sleeping aids you were telling me about. One of my potions? The booze might help me pass out, but it still doesn't help me with the dreams.
Fantastic idea.
I'm glad you're willing to give it a shot. Especially after the last potion I gave you. Never do that again. I won't. Then I trust you.
Anyway.
And I have to assume that half bottle of vodka would cause some kind of interaction.
That's right.
You would be correct. Then let's pay our tab and head home. Maybe for once I can get a good night's sleep. That night, I took the potion Harriman brewed for me. He said it was a particularly strong sleeping medicine that would work on both humans and Leshen. He theorized it might be especially effective on me. I slept better than I had in weeks, better than any night since the immolation. I was at rest and I didn't dream. Harriman said it wasn't a potion I could use every night, and he wanted to try another, lighter remedies. I still have my doubts that anything can work in the long term when I can't even remember what happened to me that day, when I still don't know how I could even be alive. How am I supposed to find peace? At least I know one thing. I'm not in this alone. I have someone alongside me who's willing to do whatever it takes to help. My relationship with the Imperial Inspector remained cool, which is probably the best I could have hoped for given the circumstances. I wasn't the most cooperative with his investigations, and I did help unleash a fire mage on the city. At the very least, he seemed to respect that I had solved all the problems I caused, and the abrupt end to his inquiry from Dansha left him without any material to drive me out of the city. I hope we'll eventually be able to work together, but I'll take being able to coexist for a little while longer. Sister Amelia was given papers recalling her to Esternesk to answer for administering the Sacrament of Tears to a Leshan. Oh yeah, that's right, he was Leshan. Okay, I was confusing myself. Surprisingly, Arcadia delayed the move as long as possible. I would have expected him to want to be rid of her and her attempts to undermine his authority, but it seemed as if he still had plans for her. During my investigation, I learned a lot more about the Krovikan Church and its enigmatic leader in Vodesk, Patriarch Arkady Vanzin. His method and understanding of Esther teachings are strange and unusual to me, even though I was raised in the church. I assisted him in some of his experiments, and I can't help but wonder what he intends for the Vodesk congregation. To protect Edward, I keep his secret under wraps, but I'd left one loose end. Patriarch Arkady Vanzin knew the truth. For the next few days, I let myself hope that he would stay quiet, but then I received news that venerated guard had arrived with papers allowing them to take Edward into custody. Oh. The Patriarch assured me that the church would not hurt Edward, but merely wanted to observe him for a few weeks to ensure he suffered no ill effects from the sacrament. I believe he was telling the truth, though it still pained me to see Edward punished. Edward Galkin and I shared a brief moment of passion during my investigation. That was a long, brief moment, too. But I sadly cannot see the relationship going any further. I don't care that he used to be a Leshan. Perhaps he should have told me before we were together. But perhaps I should have told him about my magic. I don't know. I can't pretend to understand how to deal with these things. More importantly, I realized that now that it was foolish to get involved with someone I was investigating. I should have known it would end badly, even if I could have predicted exactly how. Even if I could have never predicted exactly how. As the dust settled, Anya took in Edward's pet fox from the church catacombs. While it did not recognize her and had no bond with her, it was still domesticated enough to behave as a pet. I wondered what had happened when Edward returned. Would it go to him? Would it reveal his secret? Would it reveal his secret to Anya? Or was the bond between them severed forever? Until then, she cared for the animal, though every so often she would still have to retrieve it from the spot in the church where Fulren became Edward. As for me, I only had a few more days as a polymorph. I didn't do much with them. We didn't need to take any cases, and aside from curiosity, there wasn't any reason to turn back into a cat. Then one day I woke up and I knew it was gone. I tried to transform and nothing happened. I wondered what ability would come next with the usual mix of excitement and fear. I'd like to think that throughout the investigation, I'd made Harriman proud. My transformations had assisted in solving the case, and I never accidentally revealed myself. Or so I thought. And that's it. And I had excuse me. I had fun with this because of the way I answered some of the questions. There's a lot of stuff and different that, throughout the whole thing with all the different questions that you can answer. Oh, my throat is dry. But I hope you enjoyed this. It was good. You should really go back and, even though my, voice going back and forth isn't all that great, the story is really super cute where you can answer either way like we were doing. And the church is just like not this normal church. But it's a lot of fun with this. I just really enjoyed it because I thought it was funny. It's, she's just a character, and it was good. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. I've been doing this for 3 hours now, and I'm going to work on tomorrow. I will work on Everybody's Gone to the Rapture because it's bothering me. So I've got some stuff to do I have to do in the morning and get that all done. Or I may just wait until Wednesday. I have Wednesday through Saturday off, or actually Wednesday through next Sunday off. So, but I wanted to go to the store and I need to do some grocery shopping and stuff like that. But I hate shopping on the weekends. So, I will be on tomorrow. I'll be working on Rapture. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. And see if I can get through that tomorrow because getting stuck is just irritating me. So now I finished Dear Esther, and I finished this one. And so it was great meeting you. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with me tonight. And hopefully I'll see you soon again. Good night.